just but that is he's neither here nor there. That is neither here nor there. But
Has
there's
that
a
been
trend.
confirmed? Has that been
No, no,
confirmed?
no. It hasn't. I'm going off of features, the parents, features, the mother's cadence. But there's a trend with people who we see. Remember the black man who was talking disparagingly about black women, and then his white tee, OnlyFans model unalived him. Like we see a
Uh-huh.
lot of foreigners that disparage black people. Now I don't know if they're talking about their melanated group, because conveniently, when they talk about things that's negative, such as a gender divide, they always blanket the term black, right? But she did
Mhm.
have some tweets, I believe, that talk about black men. And so they go to whitey people, not because they love or want to love these whitey people, but because they feel people from their own ethnic group isn't treating them right. Like whitey women used to be like, oh, your man always tell us you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. I said, well, when does our men tell you they love you? If they always sitting there complaining about us and never giving you your props, or if everything's always, I date YT or out of my race because black women this or black men don't. It's like we have
Mhm.
a group of people that don't understand. And maybe at the time we were 43 million, right? You
Mhm.
cast your net wider. You don't have to jump ship and then blame us when you jump the ship without a life raft, right? So, does that make sense? Like, there's so many of us. If you're only finding one set of people from our demographic that you say did not treat you fairly, then why didn't you? You got to do your inner reflection. You got to see why it is you keep dealing with the same people, and then we have people in every demographic. We got people in the suburbs. We got people in, this place and that place, and this economic status and this educated that. Like we're so multifaceted. I don't believe that you can't find a black person to love you, right? And I know people like, oh my God, she has a Jamaican baby daddy. Yes, but I was operating off a race and not jumping shit. Plus, I thought the ancestors would spank me. Like, I just didn't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
to each his own. But out of these couples, what I noticed that's making it to the limelight is that they have something disparaging to say about their counterpart. And then they go to the white tea person, but they never talk
Mhm.
about I love him or I love her. It's always what the black person did to them. And it's just annoying. Because then when they disparage us, right, their family turns to us and we're kind hearted. So some of us will pick up the mantle, but what some of us say is we're tired. You don't get to disrespecting us, going to these people when you know their history. You gotta know their history no matter what demographic you come from. You blame them for colonization on the continent. Why would you date them, right? You
Mhm.
blame them for destabilizing the islands. Why would you think they were safe to date? It's in their nature. We're here in America. We know what they did to us. I'm not dating white tea. I'm just finding a different demographic of us. But that's my opinion. I heard it was a tweet. I don't know Afro, but I just want us to cast our nets wider. That's what we have to do.
Mhm.
And then, yeah. Because you know what? I was complaining one time. Can't act like I was perfect. And you know what somebody told me? You are what you attract. And maybe it's not them people, it's you. And so I started working on myself. And I know that my husband is a millionaire and he's in the South waiting for me. I know this. I'm manifesting it, y'all. But I ain't manifesting no white Southerner. I tell you that much.
Mhm. His name is
I'm
Billy
gonna go on
John.
mute. I'm gonna go
Okay.
on mute. Yeah, I told y'all too much. I told y'all too much. And here comes delineation. This gonna be interesting. But I love you, brother. I kind of miss you. Delineation is.
Yeah.
He don't want to talk to me
Let me
today.
let me say this as well too. I'm not in the business of telling people what to do. I'm not in the business of telling people what to do, whether I believe they should do something or not do something, as long as what they're doing is not in detriment to the greater good. Okay? So if you want to go out and you want to date your race, I'm not here to be the damn bedroom police. because there's a lot of black people who are with us, excuse me, with other black people I don't agree with. Now, less, but I'm not here to do that. However, I noticed that a lot of times, like, I have an opinion on it, but I can respectfully say, you know what, I'm keeping my stuff to myself, but I see the problem. And I see the problem and I say something about it because oftentimes the problem leaches out outside of that relationship. Because the problem in a lot of these interracial relationships, and I want you to notice that the problem's always the black, and I gotta go there. The problem tends to be, it's not always, but tends to be the black person is always, well, look at my white partner, look at my white this, look at my white that. They're dating in as a response, to something else. They're dating whatever other person, or in a relationship with whatever other person, as some type of get back to their own demographic of people. Now you have, white women who do that in their college years and all that stuff, get back at their dad or something like that. But normally when you see it, especially posted online, and they brag about it online, it's always the, well, and the white woman is so feminine, and she cooks and cleans, and she doesn't argue, and she doesn't wear weave, and she, is that. Or when it's a man, it's, well, he's just a natural builder and protector and provider, and he's super rich and super handsome and all of these great things, and emotionally intelligent and available, and all of these things that they say. And it's not, like, to your point, it's not even really the love they have for them. They're dating out of animosity towards another group of people, which I don't believe you should be dating anybody in animosity towards anybody else. So based off of just the entry, how you start is how you finish, people. We got to understand this, right? So if you start this off in an unhealthy way, the relationship is not built off of a healthy foundation. It's not. Okay? Based off of their response, you can tell this relationship was not built off of a healthy foundation. Now, we have yet to see his tweets, and I think that that's very deliberate, because she's made tweets and posts and stuff like that about anti-blackness, because you can't be anti-black male without being anti-black female too. It don't work that way, right? But I want you to notice that, if she don't like black people and he's with her, you think he loves black people? You think he's an ally to the black community? You don't think he carries the same anti-black sentiments that she does? Okay? You think he's out there protesting and marching and Black Lives Matter, man? You think he's out there doing that, and she's out there tweeting like, oh, I can't stand black people? You think it's like that? You know what I'm saying? So I just want you to know, like, we're having a conversation about her, and I think it's important because that's a learning lesson. However, just keep in mind that tweets and social media posts and stuff like that about him is really hush hush. Now, of course, people are going to argue, well, she was the influencer, so we know more about her. Okay, let's be honest. That's fine. However, he is the main suspect. Yet, it's still like there's not a lot of information. Everybody's really being hands off, and I want to let this be known, okay? Before you set the decorum and all that stuff, if the roles were reversed and he was black, she wasn't. If she was anything else, especially if she was white, if the roles were reversed, this would be all over the news. It wouldn't just be a TikTok thing. This would be all over the news, and he would be behind bars somewhere, and they would be sitting up there trying to put something on him. Okay, they would be saying he did it. We know he did it. We're gonna just keep him locked up until we find out how he did it. That's what they be doing. But that's not the case with this guy. Okay, so we got to understand there's a lot of YT privilege with this guy. All right. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna move on. Why it says why there's a mixed reaction, because a lot of people are like, he needs to be punished. I believe fully he does. Absolute. Okay, fully. However, you see people having almost like not they're not sympathizing with her, and they're not saying that he is wrong. I mean, he isn't wrong, but you've seen some people give a mixed reaction. You've seen some people kind of come off indifferent about it. Like, hey, well, quite literally, you made your bed, you got to lie in it. And I think that there's room for intelligent, respectful adults to have a conversation about that. All right. And that's what we're going to be doing tonight. Okie doke. This beautiful Tuesday evening. So, BX, can you set the decorum, please?
Sure. See how Black Americans do it? They come up on the panel, immediately go on mute. I want everybody to take a social cue from my people. I love y'all for real. Wondering why Black Chief didn't immediately go on mute, but okay. Um, when directed to speak, please lead with your ethnic group and if you're over 18. What do I mean by ethnic group? So there's a legal framework for who is Black American. We do not operate off of race because race is unconstitutional. So if you could trace your ancestors to an 1870 USA census and they're identified as, a Negro, Black, then you are a Black American. Okay. Oh yeah, Creole, mulatto, so on and so forth. I just don't want no whitey person coming up here because there's a whitey person on the farm saying they Black because they found their ancestor on it. We're not doing that there. Also, by ethnics, we understand that you have one parent who may be of immigrant background and one foundational parent. Just tell us you're bi ethnic. That's a totally acceptable term, politically correct if you want to say, and then we may ask you what the foreign parentage is. So if you have two parents that are of immigrant background, then you are your parents' country of origin, and that's fine. So say you have two Jamaican parents, Jamaican American, two Haitian parents, Haitian American, two Nigerian parents, Nigerian American, so on and so forth. What Black Americans are facing is an ethnocide, a systemic and deliberate destruction of our ethnic group's culture. So that's why we ask everybody to identify correctly, because even misidentifying can harm our community. So let me be clear. We're not just up here because, all right. Thank you. See the orange heart by Afro Elite's name? Please click the orange heart, complete your daily mission, claim your points, and it'll unlock some really cool gifts that you can gift the host, right? And it'll improve him in the algorithm and his rankings and your rankings as a fan too. Afro Elite also offers a super fan option. He does have 3 super fans so far, and you get like panel priority, so on and so forth. And even when he says, I'm about to shut down, we're winding down, you'll be able to come up, but we ask that you don't do that too often, right? TikTok friendly language only. So by now we all know we have to use like self-deletion, strange fruiting, hard candy, so on and so forth. What you're unsure of saying, please spell it out. If you can't say it on the chat, on the panel, don't say it in the chat. Don't write it in the chat because they monitor the chat too. If you do it, I will mute you for like a minute or so just to remove the comment, but it's not to take you out of the conversation. Tap, 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 tap. Please help him complete his gift goal and share the live. Let's get some fresh perspectives in here. Also, if you come up and you're on camera like Sage, and if our co-host joins us, please make sure you don't have anything that can be deemed as liquor or, tobacco, stuff like that. Yeah, and if we turn off your camera, that means that we don't know what you're doing back there, and we're just trying to protect the integrity of the live.
Well,
I think that's it, right, Afro?
yeah.
Yeah.
Sage, why did I think you was at the airport? I don't know why I thought you was at the airport. I'm like, what is Sage doing? Sage always doing something, man. And Sage, where you going, dude? Where? Are you bringing ghosts?
Bro, I'm in my bed right now, bro. What is going on, bro?
I don't know, bro. I just look. I'm like, Sage is something there. He's waiting on his plane right now. Sage is always doing something, flexing on somebody. He's all yeah. Oh, but okay, all right. He's at the house. Okay. Well, all right then. Let's have a good conversation. Let's get to our brother delineationist.
Hey, good afternoon. I know it ain't easy for you to have this space, and I commend you on that. Because nothing that you would normally do. So salute to you on that. Um, Doing uncharted territory, I would say.
Yeah.
Um, why? No, let's address the question. Why Ashley? I can't think of her name right now. Is getting mixed reactions. We got to keep it real. In regards to like when you look at the Proud Boys, right? The Proud Girls. Majority of those palm-colored men were dating melanated and Black American women, and it kind of and I've been looking at that for the past like 5 to 10 years, looking into that behavior. And one of the things I started to like explore is, are women and some of the women in our community, do they think that a man being biased or racist is that a form of power and authority to them? And I really would like to know that, because that's really messed up that a woman would in our community would choose somebody that is ethnically bigoted and dislike our community over a decent Black man.
Mm.
And it shows that there's
People
Hey,
have
hey, hey,
fetishes.
come
no,
on,
So
come on,
we
I'm not
don't
bro.
saying it's
interrupt people
terrible.
here. Hold on.
Yo, man.
Well, I'm gonna
My
let you
man.
speak, but we don't interrupt people here. We're gonna let him go ahead.
Yeah, like you just threw me the hell off, and I'm like, damn.
Okay,
So
you
so
said
when
they were
you,
ethnically
I'm
bigoted and all that.
yeah, yeah, and I'm starting to like look at that behavior, and it's not just with Black women in our community. It's sometimes some of the Black brothers, you hear them saying, "Well, I like the slave play" and all this other weird stuff that be going on, and I feel like that's unbecoming of a man and anti-Black within itself, right? So, but this focus is specifically on some of the women that's in our community. And the thing is that from my perspective, Black women have not really been underneath the microscope when it comes to anti-Black behavior. We normally gloss it over. We normally look over it and just say, hey, she's just a woman. She's in her feelings and her emotions. And we don't take it as this is a misandrous, anti-Black, bigoted comment. And one of the prime examples is I always use is Django. We all focus on Stephen, but we don't focus on that Egyptian cotton woman, whatever her name was, that Calvin Candy was talking about, that hated Django because he was a free Black man. We always gloss over that as a community, and that kind of amazed me. Like I never really understood that. And because I look at both Stephen and her were on some sucker stuff. And they both of them needed to be called out. But they don't get called out equally in the same rate. And that's when I know that the way the community internalize these type of things and express these things is more geared on the masculine side instead of being equal across the board. And that's kind of some of the issues that I observe with this. Now, to this woman, the reason why there's a lot of mixed reaction is because of some of the comments that she has made. And she chose basically a hardened, palm-colored supremacist, right? So, like, it's like, how can you lay down with somebody that really strongly dislikes your community to a certain extent and expect that you're going to get favorable outcome and treatment? It doesn't matter if they have money or not. It doesn't matter if they could buy the things that you want them to buy. They still might not treat you as well. And that's the thing that I'm trying to like rationalize and I don't understand. And it's starting to come to, from my perspective, that it's more like an economic grab by some of the women in our community. And one of the books that kind of talk about this is the book Black Skin, White Mask. This Algerian nationalist guy, and he talks about the effects of colonization, the effects of different things that is in melanated and Black people's minds in regards to when it comes to interracial dating. And I really applaud people to actually read that book and understand the unfair power dynamic and the reason why Dr. Neely Fuller called it a tragic arrangement. The reason why he said it is almost like essay and assault, because of the unequal power dynamic due to the fact that we don't have reparations, due to the fact that we don't have the necessary repair. So it's easy for people to take advantage, like we see in this situation, and get no justice. That's the thing that kind of bothers me the most, the normalization of destroying Black bodies, Black people, Black women specifically. So I just want to just chime in on that aspect from that angle and actually hope that we can have a meaningful conversation in regards to some of the problems that our sisters may be facing and why are they choosing bad choices? Why are they choosing a racist palm-colored man over a decent black man.
Well, all right. All right. Look, y'all, we don't normally have these type of subjects, even though I think we should, because if we need to be about the culture, we can't just be about the culture politically. We got to be about the culture internally as well, too. So we do need to have these conversations, but normally, we've been on our political stuff. So I would greatly appreciate it if you guys really boosted this, if you guys just tap the screen, get us to a lot of likes. We got 300 people in here. We just got 11K likes. So let's just tap the screen. Let's try to get the likes at a good rate, right? And then share it too. Now let's get to Sage. What's up, Sage?
Hey, bro. So yeah, what you're speaking of is racial showcasing. I've never really truly been down with that, and I do have an unpopular opinion on this. I am not Dr. Umar. Matter of fact, I am the opposite. I don't care what's going on in your bedroom, as long as when you wake up, you know who and what you are. So I know my sister, BX said about her husband being Jamaican. That's a beautiful thing. So what? As long as he's a great father to your children, I don't give a damn what he is. I really don't. People, that is one of the most important decisions that you will make in your life. It's who you decide to procreate with or, give your legacy to. There's nothing wrong with that as long as the person is good to you. Now, if you do want to mess with the other or someone outside of your race, that's your prerogative. I don't really find that attractive too much, but that's just me. I don't force my beliefs upon everyone else. When it becomes wrong, it's when you start, like my brother said earlier, you start downing your own race, your own ethnicity. I don't like that. When you start saying, hey, I got this other guy and the people of my ilk are wrong because X, Y, and Z, and you start, down talking to people of your specific lineage, that's when it becomes wrong. And we should not be able to pull up tweets and old posts of you down talking, people that look like you. I don't like that. That's wrong. The reason why I share the view of you can be a rider and still be with people of the opposite race is because we've had that in history. We've had the Frederick Douglasses. We've had the Johnny Cochrans. We've had the Maya Angelou's. These people have dated people outside of their specific race, and I would challenge anyone that would say that they were off code. So, and I believe Johnny has mixed kids, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and yes, you do have, you got the OJ Simpsons. Yeah, I'm not denying that. But at the same time, you have people that date people that look like us and that are Stephen A. Smiths of the world. And you got people that are off code that date other black people. So I don't really like to get into people's dating habits and dating lives the same way I don't like to really get into people's religion. But this needs to be talked about because, again, if you're going to go out and start dating people of different ilk, that's fine. But don't down talk to people of your own ilk. That's like when a person lives in the hood and he makes it out the hood and he's down talking people that still live in the hood. There's nothing good with that because that's where you came from. So the one thing that I do not agree with is whether it be entertainers or sports figures, anything, intellectuals, anyone, if you make it somewhere and you feel that you quote unquote made it to a better life, you should not be down talking where you came from because those people allowed you to make it there. So I do have condolence for the sister and her family, regardless of where she is from. I do want to, shed light on that. I'm not laughing at her. I'm not saying that, it's funny about what happened, but at the same time, it's unfortunate that we can pull up posts about her down talking black men. And that's what brings people cause to pause because it's like, okay, whose team are you truly on? You understand? So I am definitely conflicted on, feeling bad or not caring. Um, I
Mm,
do fall on the side of, you made your own bed. And again, it's not her dating somebody that looks like that. It's not about that. It's about her dating someone that looks like that and then down talking the men that look like her. That I don't like. And this vice versa too. If you are a brother and you are dating a woman that looks like that, and you look like me, you should not be down talking sisters. I don't like that. So yeah. And
yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, Brother Afro, wasn't it like a an OF model that deleted a black brother? I think he was like Nigerian or something. And
Yeah.
yeah, I
Hmm.
can't recall the names right now, but the roles were reversed. And again, I think at that time, I don't know if he had like different tweets or whatever the case is that we can pull up. I know he was talking about us. I know that for a fact, meaning other.
Pretty much the exact situation happened in reverse.
So there you
It was
go.
pretty much the exact situation.
There you go. So again,
Well, except the fact that um in this situation, they're saying she offed herself in this particular situation. In that situation, they were saying the OF model was defending herself. So that was a little different. But besides that, the tweets, the background, all that's the same. Yeah.
yeah. So again, it's unfortunate, but again, I am not black in America. I am not trying to save everyone. You know what you're getting yourself into, and you put yourself in a position like that. I don't know if she decided to do that to herself. I truly don't know. But if let's say hypothetically she did, hypothetically, right?
Hmm.
What mentally was going on in her head, that he either knew about or that he put into her head? Let's just be honest, because if you're dating someone, you know where that person is mentally. You slept with that person, you've spoken to that person, you know about that person. So again, if I don't know if it was something that she was manipulated or she had those type of thoughts. I don't know what is the family saying. I truly don't. I don't know much about this sister. I don't. I'm not gonna. I don't. But it's unfortunate what happened. But what I would say is that again, use this and learn from this, family. Use this as a lesson. Learn from this. Just because you're dating someone of the other race does not mean you made it to the promised land. And with that, I'm gonna digress.
All
Can
right.
I say something, Afro? There was a
Mhm.
comment. This is about femicide, not race. So I want to say
I
two
did see
things.
that comment. I did see that comment.
Right. Two things can be true. Femicide is real, right? I wrote an article about femicide years ago. But she made it about race when she disparaged black men. So for
Mm.
her, she dated racially outside of her race for a reason. She didn't find any love within her black race. And that's operating off her race because I really don't know what she is. I could look at her and see and think that she may not be black American. But the fact of the matter is I really don't know. I didn't do her genealogy. But one thing, so two things could be true. I just wanted to address that. We're
And
not saying that femicide is not real. What I'm saying is two things could be true. She made it about race herself when she chose to
she
date men
did.
for a
And
reason.
on top of that, just to add, the way this situation is being handled is very racial. Even if the case that they were fighting or whatever the case is, and it wasn't, the way law enforcement in the media is handling this situation is very racial, because we know for a fact if he was black and if she wasn't, they would not be handling this situation like that.
My thing is, Afro, you're claiming femicide, right? You put yourself in a position with the person that would harm you. In all honesty, I'm not, look. I am not for anyone harming anyone. I don't like when men harm women. I don't like when women harm men. I don't like any of that. But if you put yourself in a situation, and if this man harmed you, I can almost guarantee this was not his first time harming her. This might have been the first time it went this far, but there's always a pattern that you see. I've went through 30 plus years of never hitting a woman in my life. I've never put my hands on a female ever. And again, this is a pattern that you see. So again, I can understand the whole femicide thing, but again, while there are tweets of her specifically down talking black men, please explain that to me. Whoever says the femicide thing.
Let's have that conversation.
One more thing, Afro. She looks considerably younger than him in this photo. So I'm looking at her like she has this fresh young innocence about her, right? And there he goes, looking older and a little predatory, But that's my interpretation of the photo. But she does look younger than him. He looks considerably older. Well, delineation is, Caribbeans do have some similar names to ours. They have James as a last name. They have Murray
somebody
as a
in the
last
chat room, they're
name.
saying she's 31 years old.
That was delineation.
She is 31.
It was a couple of people
I looked that up.
And
Yeah, I
how
looked
old
it
is
up.
he? How old is he?
He's like near retirement age or something like that.
Okay,
Near retirement?
No,
Yeah,
look. If she was like in her early 20s, I might say nothing. But when you 30 years old, then you a full grown woman, you a full grown adult at 31 years old. You don't get no
okay, well,
baby pass. Like
okay. So
we ain't
listen,
doing that.
that was
Linda,
I was
listen,
trying to
Linda.
point
I
to.
get it. I didn't know their ages. However, black does not crack. Correct. She looks young in the picture. She
She
looks well
does.
put
She
together.
does.
I
I
don't
wouldn't be
have
able
any
to have
complaints
guessed
about
that.
how. Yeah, she looks younger than him. And it's true. I just didn't know the exact ages. But I must say, like, I don't understand 50 and 40-year-olds that date like 29, 30. Like, I don't get that age difference. But that's just me.
Okay, can
They
I address
are
something
adults,
that
but
was
it's
said in
just
the chat room? Because Panama Fresh, you don't know what the hell you're talking about by saying that how is he racist and he's basically laying down with a black woman. Let me explain something to you.
You gotta
George
be quick.
Washington had, I'm so sorry, brother. George Washington had black kids, and I'm gonna just leave it at that.
That's true. Let's get you Red Heels Lady.
Hello, hello. This is a great panel. This is a little bit different from what I'm used to hearing you say, though. So I'm glad that you're touching on this topic, though. I'm Black American. I can go 7 generations back with my ancestry. And BX, I followed you, but you didn't follow me back. I think your page is private. You know who I am. We always talked on a lot of lives before. I want to say that first and foremost, Joe, I hope to pray that we as foundational Black Americans can make it a norm when our children come home. If they can't use your comb, don't bring them home. Make it a norm and let our kids know, no, we're not having this. You know why? You can say you love this person today, but tomorrow when some shit goes down, trust me, they all on code. There's too many countless stories like the sleepover with the one black lady that was there. Every last one of them, they stayed on code and they made sure that their story stayed the same to protect whoever unalived that one black woman that was there. And we see countless and countless stories like this, though, where our brothers and sisters, they get with these other people and they start talking bad about us. I don't know why we feel that we got to speak bad about our people to like fit in when we were born to stand out. I said all that to say this, though. It's just time to just have a heartfelt conversation with our people. Like, look, if you go over there, they have the complexion for the protection. We don't. You know what I'm saying? There's consequences when you date these people. The system is for them. We have no business doing this. And then to hear her be so young and be on social media, just like the other people who were unalived by their white counterparts when they were dating or whatever the case may be, and to be on social media criticizing black men, that's a big, big no-no. So like I say, rest in preference. I'm going to the corner store and getting some. I'm tired of feeling sorry for our people who make these dumb decisions. Know damn well that you know what I'm saying, when some go down, the system is for them. And I'll land my plane right there.
Okay, understood. Let me ask you a question, just real quick. When there were interracial dating laws, do you think they should have stayed in place, or do you think like what you think? I'm just
Well,
curious.
I think that we should have stayed in place and don't worry about a law
Right,
that
right.
needed to be in place for us. We should have stayed in place. As a matter of fact,
amen.
the law is all your people who were strange fruit in them trees read the book without sanctuary, and that's the law. We don't have to wait for the law. We are the law. We are the victims of the law. That's the law right there. The code. So I go above and beyond with what you just said, though. We got to
Hey,
start
well
working on these
said. Well
laws. You know what I'm
said.
saying?
Well said. Well said. Well said.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to Flight Chief.
Yo, what's going on?
What's the word, bro? Talk to us.
Yeah, for me, I'm a 35-year-old Black American freedman, Choctaw freedman, by the way. That's how far I go back. But for me, I don't feel sorry. I don't feel sorry for the girl at all. You know what I'm saying? Somebody like as a black person who's seen somebody who's anti-black, though they are black skinned, I'm not going for it, man. I'm not going for it, bro. Like I, we had a point in time and age where if you're anti-black, just go on your side, man. Don't come back, bro. You know what I'm saying? I just keep it real because we this Uncle Tom stuff is getting out of hand. This Balick stuff is getting out of hand. What I mean by Balick is somebody um, teaches someone to go against your own people. You know what I'm saying? This stuff is getting out of hand. At this point, we should just be very harsh when it comes to these type of reactions, like these type of people, because like it's getting detrimental where younger women think this is okay. They think that a white man is going to save them. They think that oh, if I go to this white man, I get treated better. All this other stuff, man. And at this point, I'm my heart is cold. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. All right, then. I mean, that's what I titled it how it is. There's a mixed reaction. Some people are very, very indifferent about this subject. Can y'all do us a favor and tap the screen, though? Can we just tap the screen, whether you agree or disagree? And if y'all disagree, or have a difference of opinion, rather, y'all can come up and we'll talk about it. Now let's get to take him to the O.
Right. So, first of all, when situations like this happen, just like the young male that was at the track meet, and he was at the track meet, and the brother got involved, and then there was a poker presented, and then now he's in that situation. You understand what I'm saying? We always lean on the racial aspect of it, but what I like to do is I like to look at the facts. So when I look at the facts of her case, right, and when I see that they were traveling around, they were happy. They were traveling around, they were happy. He just so happened to propose days before this happened. Okay. She accepted the proposal. I don't know if she did it under duress, like, because they had a lion in front of them. I mean, they had a whole lion. He proposed in front of a lion. And then she was just like, "Oh yeah, I'll marry you." So I don't know. Maybe she had no intention on doing that. Maybe they had a discussion. You know what I'm saying? So that's not facts. But all right, going back to the facts. The facts of the case is this: when they got back to the where they were staying, the resort, they asked for separate rooms. Okay. What I can't see happening is her agreeing to a separate room. Now we are like there's a lot of men in here, okay? So we all know when your lady asks for a separate room, that means she needs space. You give your woman space, okay? If that's not the case, or whatever the case may be, if the woman wants to be with you, she'll come back to your room, this, that, and the other. There's no way that I'm gonna sit here and believe that she did this to herself in her own room based off of the fact that she felt like whatever the case may be. I think that his ego was hurt. Now we're getting out of facts. I think that his ego was hurt more so. I think maybe she said some things that he ain't used to hearing. And then once he heard them things, it's like, wait a minute, we got all this social media clout. You just embarrassed me over da 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 da. Whatever. Maybe his ego was hurt. But I do not believe that she did this to herself in a room that she asked to be separated from this man. If
I
she
don't.
asks for separation, if she asks for separation from this man, that means that she did not feel comfortable being in the room with him. That's the point. That is the bigger point. Because I don't care. Like, I done been on vacations and stuff like that. We done like said this, that, and the other. Okay, you wanted lamb chops, they didn't come good. I'm sorry, babe. This, that, and the other. Like, what can I do to make it up to you? Da da da. Either way, we still in the same room. Now, when you ask for a separate room, that means you're not safe. You don't feel safe. So look at the facts of the case. Look at the facts of the case, and then don't pass judgment on this woman, thinking that, oh, maybe things not gonna work out with him. Who is he? Like, I already know his background. He was a trader. He did certain things, this, that, and the other. She knew she could have did a lot better anyway, and he knew it too. I land my plane, man.
All right. All right, here we go. Let's get to our sister Tierra.
How you doing?
Good, good.
Good. Yeah, this is a different topic. And I just want to say, just kind of piggybacking off what the other sister was saying about how we discuss this and talk to future generations using these things as examples, because it's never about celebrating anybody being unalived. It's not about that. It's about learning and understanding that we are still dealing with our open enemy. That is real. And as somebody, when I was young, growing up in Seattle, the millennial generation was really the first generation to be fully integrated in with everybody else. And I know for a fact, in my experience growing up in the Pacific Northwest, you went to school with white kids, Asian kids, you grew up with them. And I feel like some of our parents were kind of hands off in a sense where they didn't talk about racism the way that they could. They thought that everything was innocent. And so, that was really a lot of my experience. So like my very first, puppy love boyfriend situation was a white boy. And my parents, when I think back on that and how they just kind of didn't really converse with me about that the way that they should have, it's like they kind of knew it wasn't going to go anywhere and she'll figure it out. But it can be dangerous sometimes to just let people figure it out. Now, I never did it again. It was a one and done. Like, this would never, ever, ever work in my life. And I found out later on in life when I, became older, that the only man that I could really be married to, because marriage requires something. Like, this person has to be, a partner and the head in which of my life. I cannot trust any other man or believe any other man other than a black man. I had to come to that in myself in order for how I would be able to function as a wife, having to do with my beliefs and what I know that we're up against as black people. And so we say these things like, oh, you can't help who you love and blah, blah, blah. But you wouldn't tell that to a woman who was in a relationship with a domestically violent man. You would not say to her, no matter what his race, oh, you can't help what you love, who you love, so just stick it out. You have to help who you love. It's one of the most important decisions that you'll make. And if somebody is not a fit for who you are, and maybe you have some misconceptions about yourself. And I think that sometimes, because we're so close, when I'm talking about black men and black women, like, we're brother and sister and cousins before we grow up and become intimate partners. You know what I mean? Like, we are close in knowing each other. And I think that, like, the mommy scars are deep with our men. The daddy scars can be deep with our women. And if it's not talked about and worked out, people tend to fall for this whole, well, you just can't help it. But you do. You have to help it. And I just think that, talking about your folks and who produced you in order to elevate your partner, or, if you've got to do that in order to be with somebody of another race, what is really going on? Like that doesn't make any sense. And I just want to also bring up the Twitch situation, because he had that, situation where they say he unalived himself, and his wife reported it. And what are we looking at now? It's been, what, 2 years? She got him a raggedy headstone, has barred his family from seeing the children, has all of his life insurance, and is now marrying a white man. So that's all I'll say about that.
Mm. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. All right, there we go. Let's get to 600 Selly the God, or Sell the God or something.
Yeah, how y'all doing?
We good. How you doing?
Good. Uh, yeah, basically, I think it's like an economical situation. Truthfully, I said it in the comments. She's a young black woman. Obviously, we see that she's beautiful. We see that he's a white man or white T man. I don't know how you want me to say it on here, but he's an older white T man, and we know that for the most part, if we're going to be honest, a lot of our women look at us as, okay, yes, they probably, like she said, the lady before me, she said that basically we're more spiritually connected with each other as black men and black women, right? But in today's world, it's about economical stability. So I think she chose that. Maybe he did find out she was cheating with someone she was more compatible with, maybe closer to age, whatever it was, but still using him for not only the clout but the money. He took her out there and did what he did. I really do believe that he did it, but the motive behind it, I think it was something from towards what I just said. So yeah, like I think he really got her out there. He proposed to her. He knew that she was basically gonna say no. He did it in a way to where she was forced to say yes. Something transpired, and yeah. And I think the whole reason he took her out there was probably to do something of that manner. But if she would have said yes and just kept it on going straight, he probably wouldn't have did it. But I think that's what was in his head the whole time. Like there's no way around that. Like I don't like, but it's about the country he was in. I think that was it Africa if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was South Africa, right? It was
South
Africa.
Africa.
It was
Tanzania, it
somewhere
was
in Africa.
Tanzania.
Great
Tanzania.
point. Great
And
point.
it could be the same situation with that with the girl that our friends took out to Mexico, and then that stuff happened to her in Mexico, and then they didn't want to charge nobody.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what could go on. And like I say, he's a white T man. They know the law in other countries, other states, and they will study it. So it's a possibility, bro, that he did what he did, said what he said, fed enough just to come back home to America, wherever you from, bro, and get away with it.
Mm.
So I don't know how they gonna play it, but like realistically, that's a possibility. He could walk free.
Yeah, they would try. They are gonna try that. They trying it. Let's get to Paige. Paige, you can unmute yourself.
Oh, sorry about that. And the I believe about this situation is that it's unfortunate what happened to her. But I don't agree with all the disrespect and all the denigrating of the black men because regardless of who you dating, you don't have to downplay your own race. To I don't know, for acceptance, I guess. And that is totally out of line and off code. I think she should have just been more, I guess, aware of who she was dealing with and the type of person that she chose to deal with, and the type of people she chose to idolize by her, according to her comments, according to her posts, and that's very unfortunate, and that's all I got to say, really. And hey, black men, black women, Be on code. Stay together.
All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you. BX, you said, did I see that? Did I see what?
I pay attention to a lot of things, right? So it's awfully funny. Delineation is very, very funny. I pay attention to who gets who and for what reason. So you would get that lady for her sentiments, delineation is. But I told you that I loved and I missed you because I seen a plate that's at Delaware, and you keep giving me pushback on some of my statements. You really, really red pill or whatever they call them people.
No, I'm not.
Because you need to
No,
do
no,
some inner
I'm saying
reflection for your
no.
son.
I wasn't out in Delaware. I wasn't out in your area because I was working and I was working out.
Hmm.
That's why I didn't respond right away because I was literally working out, getting my
Okay.
training on. So, but all jokes aside, I haven't left out of Delaware for a minute. So no, I
Okay.
wasn't driving around. No, I'm not on my Stalker McGee. That's weird.
All right. No, but you know how you just see something, you say, well, such and such is from there. I don't know. I just think that you wait for certain topics and then you really go in. But you seem to have a problem with black women, black American women, and I really want you to kind of work through
I got a
that.
problem with no. I got a problem with swirling types, and I have a problem with women that are disrespectful to black men that operate in anti-blackness, right?
Hmm.
And I have a right as a man to call out that negative behavior if I feel that it's going to impact my life.
Hmm.
And the thing is, women minimize that as it's just red pill or something. No, these women are operating in anti-blackness and actually being collaborators, or even willing agents and participant in the undermining of our community. See, if I was palm color supremacy, I would send women to y'all because some of y'all can't handle when women do evil things to black folks. Y'all really can't. And it's really evident just by this conversation.
Can I
So
ask you a
you
question
trivialize
though?
it, but it's just the reality.
Okay. But do you do the same with black men who do that to black women? Because
No, no,
this
no,
is
no,
the,
yeah, no, no. I actually do. I don't like it across the board, and I've always said across the board it's not cool. But like I said at the beginning of when I gave my summation, when it comes to women, it gets overlooked, and it's gotten to the point where I feel like it's unbearable in our community due to the fact it is overlooked the way it is. We call out men who act in that fashion. We even don't even elect certain black men because they don't have a black spouse. So we got to keep it real. But when it's a black woman or a black looking woman, that gets overlooked. That's what I'm talking about here.
okay. I just wanted to know because, I never hear that part from you. But we could hold. It's a balance, right? Because we both do it. Both genders do it, right? So that's all. I just wanted clarity. Thank you
Can
for
I
clarifying
piggyback
that
off
for me.
that?
Mm-hmm.
Because I just wanted a point of clarity too, because I heard delineation use the term misandry, and I think that that's an important term. There's a scholar, his name is Tommy Curry, and he wrote a book called The Man Not, which is a book I think that everybody should read because misandry is real when it comes to black men. Um, I think though that in the sense of when we start talking about interracial dating and marriage, um, I like to reflect back on what Frances Cress Welsing told us about how black men are seen as the threat in genetic annihilation because women cannot impose, sexual intercourse. We cannot impose any sort of, physical jump off. That was her premise for how white people look at the situation. And because we live in a system of white supremacy, I do think that because they tend to focus more on that assault inadvertently, like we do too, and it gets, put out there in another way. But I think that at the end of the day, and this is where people get uncomfortable with the situation because we start talking about gender roles. And what I tend to hear is a lot of black men talking about how they want their position as leader, but don't seem to understand they're already in it and how they operate while they're in it as black men. It has a residual effect. I think that if black men weren't doing it, I don't think you see as many black women doing it. And then I don't think that, and we know statistically, black women don't do it in the same numbers as black men. And so I don't think it's for the same reason. I agree on that. I think that with black women, it definitely has to be more economical and still based in some trauma. Both decisions, I think sometimes, for the most part, in this country are based in trauma, because maybe if you go somewhere else, you might be able to get away from it, but it's too steeped in who we are as a nation and our history. You know, it's only been what, 50 years, 60 years since it was legal for black people and white people to marry. So, you know, they throw us in one generation of integration and you see a percentage of this number start to rise in the men and women. Now, it's still not the majority. Majority of black people marry black people. That's a statistic that is factual. The people that do decide to marry, most of us marry each other. But I don't see how anybody, if you're looking around just in your own lives or in just your own circles, when we go through certain things like George Floyd, the pandemic and having to do with the jab and all this type of stuff, I saw so many interracial couples cannot disagree fundamentally on how to steward their families because they're coming from two different historical situations where if, let's say it's a black man who has a white wife, he is not the authority in the house. Anthony Fauci was. You see what I'm saying? And he then has to fight his wife about what to do with their children regarding their medical, you know, situation because she don't really believe him. Even though she decided to marry him, has children with him, says she loves him, they're fighting about that. Same with whether or not they should go protest in the George Floyd situation. Oh, it's COVID. The kids will get sick. Okay, but he wants to go because they need to be involved. You know, these are things that, like, how do you, it's hard enough being married and raising families and all of that. But then you got a fundamental difference in how you see the world. And I've yet to see, and, you know, anybody do it, you know, holistically to where, you know, that doesn't happen. So that's, you know, I'm just saying, like, there's a lot to be considered, but I did just want to say that I think that misandry regarding black men is something that, you know, we do have to pay a little bit more attention to. That's why I brought up the Twitch situation, because I feel like nobody's talking about that. Like, this is a ironclad situation right here where, you know, these kids' black family can't even be a part of their lives. She done found a way to bar them. And then we can go on to Kobe. I mean, I don't know if people are aware, you know, his father passed away and they were selling some of his memorabilia because they didn't have enough money to pay their bills. And his widow got settlements from, you know, what happened and all of the estate. I don't see how that's possible. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm just, I don't really know what else to say, but I just wanted to add that on.
Can I
Hold on, because there's a couple of people who haven't spoken yet at all. So I want to, before we go into an open panel, I want to let at least everybody have spoke one time. And I do want to add too that I'm seeing a lot of people disagree in the comments, which is fair and it's fine, you know. But I would like, if you disagree, especially if you strongly disagree, request up and say it, because I'm not able to really tell exactly what the disagreement is. If you are like, if somebody just says wrong, like, okay, well, what do you disagree with what has been said, you know? So if you disagree, you can feel free to request up or say, I disagree, and then request up. So that way I know that you're somebody who disagrees with something, and then we can have a conversation about it. All right.
So can I tell you something? Because Sister Keita just came in, right? Mm-hmm. And Sister Keita started hosting her own lives. And one of her first topics was addressing an incident that happened here on TikTok. A white tea woman, or could be some type of white tea Latina, hosted a
Mm-hmm.
live talking about Black American women and their relationship with Black men.
Okay.
And FBA men were up there taking the jabs at Black American women. Like, that's why I said it's like, but we need a balance when all of us, both genders do. This has nothing to do with. I agree with Tierra about misandry as with delineationists, but at the same time, if we're gonna talk about one, we gotta call it all out because Black American men will take the opportunity to get up on a. How could you go to a white tea woman who ain't even? She's dating an African, not even a Black American, and take jabs at Black American women. So now we gotta question them people too. But that's another topic for another day. But that did happen recently. Afro.
Mm. All right. Okay. I didn't know about that. Okay, but
Yeah.
thank you for telling me. All right. Let's get to No Shirt.
How you doing, Afro? I just came up here. I was gonna be real quick. I really don't know too much at all about this prompt. It's a new topic for me, but I only came up here because I very much dislike false information, and I didn't nobody correct the dude when he said people out here being Uncle Toms because he meant it in a derogatory way. Uncle Tom was a hero. If you haven't read Uncle Tom's Cabin, go read it. Stop just saying stuff that you don't know that you heard from somebody else. They've done went down the family line of people saying this and saying certain terms and certain words. If you don't know or who Uncle Tom was, don't try to use it in a derogatory way. It just doesn't make sense, and I'm tired of people doing that. And while I'm on the topic, stop calling everybody the N word. Stop being so inclusive with our history and lineage. And like I said, I don't really know too much about this topic at all. So I'm gonna do my due diligence and research on this, and I'll be back. But I just wanted to point that out, and I waited up here just to say that because I didn't like that. I hate. Oh, my bad. I very much dislike when people put out false information and a false narrative on excuse me, things that they don't know about. So let's get this right one more time. Uncle Tom is not what most of you guys think he was. And if you haven't read Uncle Tom's Cabin, go read Uncle Tom's Cabin. He actually was a very good person. So stop trying to say, oh, that brother's an Uncle Tom and don't know what it means. But I'm going to drop right there.
I appreciate that, bro. Appreciate it. Yeah, let me cycle around through. Let's get to DJ. DJ.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
That's all right. Good, good.
Yeah, so I want to address the prompt real quick. Why Ashlee Jenna is getting a mixed reaction. Um, I I guess the number one thing is that we don't really know about is she from our community. I mean, it just we've seen this before. We've seen this before where we've seen people, you know, those that might be immigrant background might be cosplaying as one of us and then also talking down on us, but getting on board with white tea. So we've seen this before. So I guess we're really kind of looking for answers, what's going on here. I guess that's where I'm mixed up at. That's what I'm trying to understand and figure out. Okay, because well, I'm gonna leave it there and just keep listening. I'm gonna just leave it there and keep listening. Thanks.
Now, to play devil's advocate a little bit, I just want to ask everybody in the room a question, and I want y'all to give the briefest answer. What do you think our community's reaction would be if we found out she was not FBA versus if she was FBA? Do you think that there would be more sympathy for her if she was FBA, or do you think that people would have the same opinion? What do you think? Do you think that's the reason? That
Yeah,
her
I
lineage is
can
still
answer that
kind
right now.
of, the jury's out on that, or what do y'all think about that?
Yes, I can answer that right now.
Uh-huh.
I would still have sympathy for that because that could still be one of our from our community.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so
you
it's not
would,
really it's
so you said you would still have sympathy, which means you have sympathy now, right? I'm
yes,
just
most
clarifying.
definitely.
Okay.
Right. No, I wouldn't. No, I would. I'm just saying that we've seen this before.
Uh-huh.
We've seen it before where we've seen immigrant background, whether they might be have mixed parents or something like that. We've seen this before where they've come out and start saying negative things
Yeah,
about
you're
our
right. You're right.
community.
And
Yeah.
BX, what do you think? Y'all think if she was FBA versus not, you think if people had a confirmation of her lineage, whether it be foreign or not, do you think that would change anybody's opinion?
I think that if we found out that she was foreign, we wouldn't really pay too much attention to it. I got to tell you, because at this point, I feel desensitized to certain topics. Once I saw the tweet about black men, no matter what people may think about me, I do love black men. I was raised by a black American father, and so once I seen that, I was like, and our life went on. And I didn't expect the topic today, but we're here. Does that mean I wish that she was on the live just because of the tweets? No. But I mean, sometimes it's us, right? So you can't, and I got to tell you, I had to tell one of my children, don't be that N-word. Don't be that nigga. And what I meant by that is, don't put your people down or think that this other group is better than your people and then have to come back to the same community you put down. So some of us are faced with this in real life. I had a cousin that only dated outside of the race, and guess what? He found out. Them white tea boys don't play about their women too. In those days, it had to be like the 90s or something. Tore his car up because it was in a very segregated part where the white tea people were, Riverdale. But I hear that demographic is changing. So you going over here to date their woman in their area, going to visit her, pick her up or whatever, you come out and your car is messed up. What if that was your life? So I think that if she was Caribbean, we wouldn't really pay too much attention to her, honestly, because I'm telling everybody stay out of the Caribbean's business, right? Whatever that business may look like. For the simple fact, we don't like it when they do it to us, and we got our own issues. We got to focus on us. So I really wouldn't pay no attention if I found out she was correct. If you didn't have this topic, she wouldn't be a topic of my conversation, whether she was Black American or Caribbean, because I saw those tweets. I mean, I'm up here, right? But I don't disparage Black men, even though I have a Jamaican children's father. I don't disparage my men or my community. I don't even disparage Jamaicans or Caribbeans. I talk about the tethers, and people don't realize that. But once you date outside of your race, right, there's a possibility some won't take up for you if something happens to you. Because I saw those tweets, I ain't going to take up for her. But in the same token, right, look at when Akai Gurley, who I hear is a Virgin Islander, he was harmed by the police. To this day, I still talk about him and how wrong it was, and he's part of the reason why I'm protesting the Asians. Like, I'm boycotting them, minus this app when it was owned by them. So I think that people who date outside their race, if they disparage Black people, no matter if they disparage Black women or Black men, some of us just don't care anymore. And Black American women, for the most part, are tired of people coming back to the community saying, look, my family member didn't mean this, but this happened to them. I can't. That's why I told my children, don't be that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Don't put nobody else over your mother and your sister or your cousins and all this other stuff. Don't do that. So we do have to talk to our people, because they think they could say anything and that we just supposed to pick up the mantle for them. But how many times are we to be put down and then be everybody's savior? And we saw that with the man who was unalived by the OF. And this is what Black women are saying. It's not so necessarily that because he's a Black man or racially Black. It's because we're tired of being put down and everybody comes to us, no matter what spectrum. I see my brothers are tired of this shit too. Oh, Black American women are bad witches and she did this and she said that. I'm with y'all, but y'all don't know that, right? Because I saw the tweet about Black men, I'm oh, whatever, life goes on. I ain't even talking about her. I wouldn't have
Mm,
talked about it if she wasn't on the prompt. So I
mm.
think that if she was Caribbean, she'd get less sympathy. Why? Because the Caribbean is in our business at this time, and we're tired of especially melanated groups thinking they could say and do whatever about us, flying as if they are us, so we get dumped with their garbage, and then we're supposed to turn around and be their saviors? No, they gotta hold their own nuts, Afro. Period.
All right.
Can I
All right.
respond to that?
Yeah, just briefly, then we'll get to cash, and because
Yeah,
we got a couple more people up, a few more
yeah.
people up here who haven't spoken.
I'll keep it brief. Yeah, I look at there's a distinction without a difference. At the end of the day, it's the hate aspects of our community or dislike aspects of our community.
Mm,
And I hope that our community start to understand that there are certain enemies in our community, both male or female, and they need to act accordingly. It doesn't matter when it comes down to lineage, when it comes to the hostility to our community. And I hope that we view enemies as an enemy and treat them as an enemy. And I think that if we start doing that as a community, no matter what the sex orientation or lineage of the individual, I think that we'll be able to preserve our lineage and our legacy a lot better. That's kind of the angle that I'm kind of coming from.
mm. All right then. All right. I just want to ask because I kept saying that back and forth. She's FBA. She's not FBA. She's bi ethnic and all that. Which I don't know. I'm not sure about her lineage. You know, the jury's out on that. I'm not sure. Nobody's giving confirmation on that. But I just wanted to ask the panel in the chat room if that would make a difference to them. So okay, let's get to cash.
Hey, what's going on, brother Afro Elite,
What's going
BX?
on?
Yo,
Peace,
yo,
Cash.
that's well, let me start by answering that question that you just asked. Um, I could have empathy for, the fact that a human life was taken. I don't condone that. I don't condone that type of, violence towards anybody. However, she does need to be held accountable for the energy that she put out there against black men. And I would not, I'm with BX on that one. You know what I'm saying? I really don't care about her. Sorry to say that. I don't mean to sound harsh, but I mean, I don't condone the violence, but at the same time, it's like, hey, I mean, the energy that she put out there makes me feel like I should focus on other things. There's other people that has been unalived all throughout this year that we could be talking about and stuff like that. But anyways, long story short, I find it very interesting that one of her tweets says, or it's a retweet actually. She retweeted two women, right? Two women that lost their life back in 2021. Yeah, because I was scrolling through all her tweets, you know what I'm saying, figuring her out. And
Okay.
I mean, we could break down a lot of different problematic tweets that she made, but this tweet I find very interesting because the two women, I forget their names, but both of them were unalive by white men. And now here she is. Wait. It gets even crazier, right? One of those women was a YT woman that you shared. Now, if we go back to year 2020 through 2021, there's a lot of black men and black American women that lost their lives, strange fruited, contemporary strange fruit. You know how they do. They try to say it was a self unaliving. So, how come she didn't retweet black men that were found strange fruited back in 2020 and 2021? But you took the time to retweet a white woman? Now the black woman, okay, that's cool. I'll give you that one. But the YT woman, that was really weird. But then I kept scrolling and I saw another tweet. The other tweet said it was like joking, talking about um me getting ready for the gender WARs, right? And it's like a picture of a woman on a meme, like painting war paint on her face, right? So clearly she was proud of engaging in the gender WARs, right? So that's another problem I have with her. And yeah, so she has a lot of questionable tweets. She clearly was making tweets to purposely antagonize black. Sorry about that. I keep getting phone calls. I'll land with this. Another tweet that she made, she was lying on her mother, or maybe she wasn't lying on her mother, saying that she wanted to be just like her mother. Her mother married a YT man and be laying up a YT man, right? Come to find out she's married to a black man, so I don't know why she would say that unless she purposely wanted to antagonize black men, which further shows proof that she built her entire internet persona on antagonizing black men. So, with that being said, rest in preference, although I do feel empathy for a human life being lost, but I could care less. There's other people out here that we could be talking about.
Mm.
Alan.
All right. Let's get to Jasmine.
Hey, panel. So I keep hearing about this. The past few days, I saw it on TikTok. And I like to collect information because I definitely agree with most of the talking points I've heard in the past, at least like 10 minutes. I'm a little bit conflicted because one, and this may sound weird to people, but I do agree that she was talking about our people, our men. And I would feel the same way if it was a black man that got strange treated by a white tea woman, if that black man was talking about black women. And we also know for a fact that black women would be all on board if it was the other way around right now. There wouldn't be any sympathy or empathy. And that's just being honest. I also am not sure if this woman, which is probably for me, like maybe like an in between part of like, should I care or not? Is she a tether? Because I keep hearing people tell me she's a tether. Some people she's not. Because, and the reason why it matters is because a lot of African and Caribbeans worship their white zaddy. I don't like the fact that a lot of these people look like us and they represent us, and then it's like this weird in between tug of war with black men that actually do like black women, but they're not black men. They're like Caribbeans and Africans that love white tea women and Latinas, and we're supposed to care. I know it
Mm.
probably seems hardcore for a lot of people, but that is something that matters to FBA, Sulani American Indian types. But that's not to say that I feel like that woman deserved to be unalived. But we can't sit here and ignore the fact that she was talking disparagingly about our men. You know, the lobster, like the shrimp and lobster crowd, right? Pasta and lobster. I get it. And you like, come on, women. You know we would do the same thing to them right now if that was a Tunde whatever with his white tea woman and she was like, getting away with murder. We'd be like, ha, that's what you chose, though. It's what you chose. Basically, right? That's a mixed reaction that we're getting. But on a more important note, let's look at the facts, some of the other facts that I saw about this guy, because I do have empathy. This guy is a felon crypto YTK beast. He took her, I guess he was with her for like a year or whatever. Her mom's also a divester. She probably just bit off more than she could chew, went over there and didn't realize that, hey, maybe there are some of these people who look like that crazy eyes white PK beast that maybe have taken off out a insurancy policy on you. Like, let's sit here and like, let's get married on April Fool's Day, by the way. April Fool's Day. You guys saw that, right?
Oh, I didn't know
Then
what day it happened. That's
it was
interesting.
on April Fool's Day that
April
he
Fool's Day.
yeah, on April Fool's Day that he proposed to her. Then there were people at the hotel that have accounted for them arguing, and they were trying to take care of her, to be honest. The Tanzanians, they put her in a different hotel room, and all of a sudden she strange figured herself. Let's be so freaking for real. He was in jail for 11 hours. That's why he didn't call, but I did see that he did contact the family after that. But what he did do that was extra weird too was come back to the States, delete all the pictures that he had with her, and then started tweeting about crypto.
Mm.
So I don't know. I do have empathy, but like I don't know if I should care that much, like Cash was saying. Because yeah, like I'm not gonna accept anyone, whether it's a man or a black man or a black woman, sitting there talking about us, and she may be a Caribbean. I don't know. But I land there.
All right. All right then.
Can I piggyback on that real fast? I just want to point something out that nobody's talked about yet. It's usually a thing, and again, our scholars like Frances Cress Welsing, go back and check out what she says. This whole white men wanting to be with black women really, really is about them trying to stick it to, did I say that right? White men wanting to be with black women, yeah. It's about them wanting to stick it to black men more than anything else. And for her to constantly be trying to talk bad on black men, probably doesn't even have a history of dating black men. She's doing that for him and his benefit, to keep his ego intact, because she probably already has peeped that he's insecure, and like most white men tend to be when it comes to brothers. So the more she can outwardly be like, I don't like them, forget them, this, that, and the third, she keeps his ego intact. This is all unspoken type stuff that goes on in these types of relationships. Same if you flip it around. If a black man is with a white woman, he cannot smile and nod at that sister that looks good walking by, even if it's just friendly. That happens all the time. Like, you know, maybe if he was by himself, he might nod and say hello. But if he's with her, he's going to put his head down and not look too much, because they have an insecurity about, you know, white women have it about black women. White men have it about black men. And it can get to a place where it's psychotic. That's where it stems, though. She can't be Miss Pro-Black, this, that, and the third, and be with him too. Because that threatens his whole... They don't have any other sense of identity other than their whiteness. I mean, that's what I'm saying. When it's here in the United States, that's why I'm saying, like, with her either being a tether or her being FBA, I would feel like I would expect it more if she was a tether. She was FBA, she should know better. But, yeah.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Thank you for that. That kind of brings me to what I was saying earlier. Like, would you think that if she was making those tweets and he was with her, he didn't have the same opinions and thoughts and beliefs about black people? You know, so that's a point right there. We're gonna get to Omega and then Striving.
Peace to the panel.
Peace to
B1,
you.
everybody.
Black first to you,
B1.
always.
Yeah, it's gonna sound cold, man, but I'm gonna keep it 100. Like, straight up and down, we are in the middle of a race, WAR, and that woman had shown herself to be an enemy combatant. Straight like that. I mean, I'm pretty indifferent about her situation. Of course, nobody wants to see a young lady, you know, lose her life or anything and unalive in such a heinous situation. But at the same time, we are in a race, WAR. This is what it looks like. And once you show yourself to be an enemy of my group, I can't honestly feel like any kind of sympathy for you. If we were on the real battlefield and you catch a double agent and whatever happened to him, you're not going to feel any sympathy for that. You got to look at this shit the same way. Yeah, my heart goes out to her family. A mother should never have to bury her children, and I love black women. You know what I'm saying? Like, straight like that. children from black women. A black woman. I only got one baby mother, whatever you want to call it, but still, nobody told her to come out and make those tweets. Nobody came and told her to totally stand against us. And I get sick of those people, whether it's a female or a male, that date outside of their ethnic group, date outside of their race, and then want to shit on us. Once you date outside of us, you don't really have any leeway to speak on black relationships. Once you speak against us, you've shown who you really are. And that's my 2 cents. Sorry if it sounds cold, but it is what it is. B1.
Black first to you, brother. All right. Let's get you striving.
What's up, Alfred? What's up, everybody?
Word.
I I wanted to comment first. That gentleman that scene with her mother, that's her father, and they're not together. I was in another live, and they was actually pulling up receipts, pictures, and all that. And this mother is married to a YT man. That's a fact. And she has like three. They pulled up pictures, but this woman has like three mixed race kids with him. I mean, she has three biracial kids with him, and so this girl, and she had tweets. This girl pulled up her profile going back to 2011, and she has always dated YT men, even from high school. So this is something that was put in her head by her mother, because she has tweets where she was saying how, joking about how her mother always tell her that she's going to marry a YT man. What's funny enough is that her mother and father divorced, and her mother got with a YT man, and her father got with another BLK woman. So I just find that kind of funny, but. So this is, and she's also had tweets about, wanting mixed race babies and all. She was a thorough, true and true, groomed, divester. So through and through, like from going back to high school. So, and the girl pulled up she showed the pictures. So, so that's that. And the mixed reaction comes from, because these people who engage, and this goes for the men too, these people who engage in these type of relationships, and they know that they have a history of bashing black people all over social media. If it's a woman, they bashing black men. If it's a man, they bashing black women. And so, you know what I'm saying? And when they get into situations like this, when they see situations like this, they know that it could be them. And they want people, and when they hear people talk, talk real negative, don't care, express how much they don't care and all that, they don't want that to be them. They don't want that kind of energy around out there, or if they happen to get unalived or something like that, dealing with these YT people. So they try to kind of guilt, because from my experiences on these lives, it's like a thing where it's like they try to guilt us into caring. You know what I'm saying? Just to try to use this little Christian logic. You know how they, oh, it's a life, it's a life. Oh, even though she said what she said, she was, man, they even try to say that this dude groomed her. Hey, this is a grown ass woman. You know what I'm saying? They trying to make it seem like she was a child and she was groomed. It's like, come on, man. So that's where the mixed reaction, to me, that's my opinion of where the mixed reaction comes from. It seems to me, it's like this thing where these people get you got people out there who are in these little interracial relationships. They know that it can happen to them, and they want people to care if it happens to them. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? No matter no matter how off cold they were, you know what I'm saying? No matter how much they bash, they get in their little divestiture circles and they all over social media talking trash about black men. They still want them to care if something happened to them. And so and I'ma land right there. I'ma land right there.
All right. Let me add this. Let me add this. The foundation of any community is the family. And this has been all the way back in time, back in ancient times, any type of ancient indigenous civilization. It's always been that. Okay? And a community will not strive without that. That is the key aspect that everything is laid on top of. Or everything lays on top of, rather, right? So um, that needs to be strong and it needs to be healthy. All right? It needs to be strong and it needs to be healthy. So in order for us to do that, we're going to have to look at things from that aspect. And less of a personal aspect of, well, this is my experience and I saw this and I saw this, but more of an aspect of, okay, what is this in relation to the community? How does this reflect on the community, right? So we have to look at it like that.
You know what's
Now,
interesting about you saying that, though? He just told us that the break in her family is really what groomed her preferences, because check this out. Black girl, black mom, black dad. Black mom, black dad break up. Black dad gets another woman who's a black woman. She's probably not living with him most of the time. She's probably going to be jealous of that relationship. Sees what her mom does. She goes and gets a white man. The mixed kids they have probably get treated better or more pretty than she is and whoop-de-woo, whatever. And that has shaped her entire mind frame and what made her vulnerable to this dude right here. You think he didn't peep all of that before he decided this is the black woman I'm gonna date? Distorted identity with her father, angst against black women for taking her place, mom loves white men. I mean, it all makes sense. She was groomed, not by him, by her parents who didn't stay on code about what they were supposed to be doing.
yeah.
I
Does
second that with
anybody?
some
Does
scholarship.
anybody? Hold on. Does anybody want to drop? I want to bring a couple of more people up
I can
before
drop if you let me close
You
out.
can drop me.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So there's a couple of books. One of them I'll refer to is Daughters of the Trade, where they talk about women that were in Africa that were a part of the transatlantic slave trade that were bred for palm-colored people, and they had certain traits and certain things. I employ people to read that book. The other one I'll point to is When Grape Was Legal. That talks about where palm-colored men were able to SA black women and be able to get away with that, even still to this day. You've seen it with white collar officers, like I think something out of, I can't think of where he was from, but he essayed a boatload of black women, and he got put into jail for that. So this is normalized where people can target black women and assault black women, and they think it's okay because there has not been a legal precedent against these type of crimes even since the day of slavery. This is the reason why reparations is very important, to atone for these type of sins and these type of things. And not all Christians think in that manner. There are some Christians that do believe from the perspective of saying that your sins will lead you to your damnations. So the sins of this woman of talking bad about black Americans, which led her to her damnation of the unaliving her herself. And that can be found in the Word of God. So when people shame people based off their faith, not all Christians think the same. They do need, those are the ones that are not reading the Word correctly and using it so that they can grift the community, rip off and disrespect the community. And they want to do that in an evil, malicious manner. So I just want to say a couple of those things. And the other thing is the Willie Lynch letters. Y'all need to read that book. It's a very small book that goes into the details about how they manipulate, harm both the black male body and where they damage the mind of the black male and leave and leave his body, but they also psychologically trauma the black woman, the Negro woman, and they do that still to this day. So I implore you to read those 3 books to kind of give you more context when it comes to SA violence and stuff like that, specifically to Black American women, to give you more of a complete context and why I say the things I say. You guys have a great one. Please read books, learn more, and grow. Y'all guys have a good one. Thank you for growing your
Put
conversation,
some
Brother
self-help
Afro.
books over there, some self-awareness books on yours too, so you can deal with that trauma that keeps you to continuously coming after Black women through
Wait,
the
wait,
nation.
wait, 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 wait.
Go
Stop,
ahead and
stop. Wait,
grow.
stop
Heal
demonizing me,
and
yo.
grow.
No,
Heal
stop
and grow.
demonizing.
Can
Trying to
I add
demonize
something
the
after
brother.
he leaves?
All
Because
right.
I want to respond to the lady that spoke before him about the trauma, right? Because I did hear a different viewpoint on TikTok literally yesterday about these people who are divestors or passport bros or whatever, people who are outside of our community
Mm-hmm.
who are moving outside. And I did see someone mention that these people usually don't like one of their parents, right? That was an interesting take that delineationist had, but I was thinking more so that our American Indian friends and brothers and sisters, they always say the baby follows the belly, right? So when I look at like the parenting or whatever, if you have a mom who is the divester and big upping white tea men, right? Because her
Mm-hmm.
father married another black woman, right? If there are black, she
Mm-hmm.
married a white tea man, and she was the foundation of her ideology against black men. You could take out her being black, make her Caribbean, you could make her white tea, you could make her Asian or whatever, right? The baby follows the belly. So that ideology came from her mom, because it's the mom that raises us. So I do halfway agree with what was being said or whatever, right? But I don't think it's also necessarily that the father was the one to be to blame, because he was kind of on cold. The mom was like, I'm upset for whatever reason, and I'm going to make these choices. But then at one point, she had to just freaking grow up. So, there is that. But she was talking hella shit about black people, because I don't put us in half. Black man versus black woman. She was talking about us, and I could care less that she's dead. That's just my own personal opinion. So
It's
All right.
can I add a
Hold on.
little
Let's let
2 cents?
Omega say he wants to say something real quick before we drop off.
Yeah. Overall, man, like straight up and down, and again, it is totally unfortunate. Like my condolences again to her family, but as people, like we can't have a soft spot for treason. It's just that simple. All right, I'll drop. Be one.
Like first to you.
Be one.
All right.
Hey, man, I speak.
Let me see. Let me just say this real quick. I want us to all understand, right? We gotta get this. We gotta get this part. When it comes to the standards of relationships and dating and all that stuff, it's always a conversation. However, though, we need to understand that this isn't just about the interracial relationship standard, but this is also about the character of the person in the interracial relationship. So we can't separate the two things, you know. So like for instance, let's say there was a black cop and something happened to the black cop. Does that black cop not necessarily get condemned? But let's say that black cop has a history of going around harassing other black folk, beating other black folk up, and doing other crazy stuff to black folk, has a negative anti-black or even treacherous history against the black community, you know? Does that now change our perception? You know what I'm saying? So it's not. I'm seeing a lot of people like, well, black men date out and black women date out, but I want us to understand that in this particular situation, it's more than about just dating out. Okay, I feel like a lot of people, and it's about like almost the why and the motive to it that leads to this type of situation that we have to analyze. And the reason why we're doing this, y'all, is because we want to prevent things like this from happening. We don't want things like this to happen again. So if we see an issue, we now have to have a conversation, and then we have to analyze exactly what we feel like may have went wrong, what we feel like the motive was. Yeah, what we feel like we can do better to prevent things like this, or to be more aware or cautious of things like this in the future, because that's how we improve. It's unfortunate what happened to her. It is, but nobody cheers somebody being taken out like that at all, period. But what we're talking about is not that. What we're talking about is, as the community, where should the community stand going forward? All right, that's the conversation. Okay,
Afro, I have a
so
quick question for you, brother.
Afro, may I speak?
So, if let's say if the sister was technically
yeah,
on
I'm gonna
code,
get to
right?
you, Tony. Just Sage. What's up?
Let's say if the sister was technically on code, right? With
Uh
everything that
huh.
she did, there was no tweets that existed at all. Do you think that we would have the same energy today as we had, or as the same energy today, if she was on code, as if she wasn't, as she wasn't? What do you think, brother?
No, no. The reason why I feel like a lot of men and women, I mean, you saw BX saying she don't really give a damn, Jasmine saying she don't really give a damn. We had Red Hill saying that she don't give a damn. All of the women came up here and said that they don't care like that. So the reason why you seeing that is because of her behavior, you know. So I think if she was on a different type of page, even if she was with this man, if she was on a different type of page, you know what I'm saying, it would have been, there would be more care. They might not be sitting up there stomping for the same way they would if she was with a brother, but the indifference of it is definitely because of what she's done, or what she said rather. So yeah, to answer that, Tony, what's on your mind?
What's going on, brother B1, to the family?
Yeah,
Great
brother. Yeah.
discussion tonight. The one thing I noticed with this young lady and the brother that got taken out by the white teen woman a year or two ago is there was a lot of self-hate in their online messaging towards our people. And I think that, you got to be really careful with this wanting to be with this proximity to white tea people, because they are who they are. You're talking about a people that have taken us out and kept our DNA to pass down from family to family, i.e. Nat Turner. I'm trying to watch my words here. I don't want to get a strike against you, brother. And then you have, when they do these things, it's almost swept under the rug. Like the NFL player that beat that black woman a couple years ago, he was a white T man, and you haven't heard anything of it. Or that black woman that was at that sleepover with those white T people that took the selfie with those white T women, and their husbands were upstairs, the white T men were upstairs, and they said she jumped off the balcony. So I think there's a lot of self-hate within these people that, have unfortunately passed on. But our journey has to continue, because everybody's not going to make it with us. We're a special people. I'm a proud FBA. And Afro, you're a little younger than me. I've seen you at the reparations rallies here in DC. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of Tariq. I'm proud of Jason Black, Professor Black Truth. So we got to keep pushing on. Everybody has they've chosen their way. Okay. My grandfather used to say, my dad used to say, a hard head makes for a soft ass. Okay. So it is what it is. I don't wish that on anybody, that kind of passing, especially being that young, but they chose their own path. Be one to the family. Everybody stay black.
Yeah.
Be one. Afro, you know what this is
Be
like for
one.
me because I don't like the way you said BX don't give a damn, right? But this is what this is like for me. We tell a black Amer- wait. We tell a black American woman a black American woman knows that we're boycotting the African hair braided shops because they've been disrespectful. Some of them have even touched other black Americans. I don't know why today we still seeing videos of black American women being disrespected in these hair braiding shops. They know we were on a boycott. We know there's some issues with the Africans. And what are people saying? Somebody even said, "Oh well, we can't help that lady that just got disrespected. She's lost." This is what it's like when I see things like that. How many times do we have to tell you the stove is hot? Like, so I'm desensitized. I guess that's the word. Like, because like I even had to tell my child, right? Because my child half Caribbean, and so
Mm.
some things she may not necessarily get right away. So I noticed her hair was braiding. I said, if something happens to you in them hair braiding shops, mommy might be the only one fighting for you. Right? Well, she a fighter anyway, right? Because she was raised foundational side, right? But still, we have to even this stuff is off the app too. Like some of these things that happen on this app that we talk about, I have to face in my real life, and I have to know how to guide my children through it. It's that we become desensitized because we already told you that we had to call for a boycott to address the disrespect. We ain't go around knocking the Africans upside their head. We just pulled our money back. So why is women still going in these shops? I see women in the South still going in these shops. Like Alabamian just had a braid snatched out, and the people were illegal. So I believe one of them or two of them got deported. So to me, this interracial incident here is the same thing, except it's centuries upon centuries upon centuries with the white people that I'm just like, we don't get it by now. And then to make matters worse, she disparaged black men. I don't think people don't realize I got upset when I seen the tweet. Like I paid attention and then was like, okay. So my initial response was fine because I already knew that there was some anti-black something going on somewhere. So it's not that I don't give. I'm just tired. I'm desensitized because I think sometimes we do it to ourselves, and I say that all the time. Sometimes it's us. How many cases we got to see, just like the Braden shots? How many times we got to see people be disrespectful? There's a chance we're going to face some type of racial violence within an interracial relationship. Like, I just think it's a no-brainer to cast your net wider. There's 50 million Black Americans, right? Cast your net wider. And I just said, I believe my husband is in the South. He a millionaire. I'm manifesting that. He ain't white tea. So we gotta do something different, y'all. That's all. I'm gonna be quiet, but that's what I want to
All
say.
right. All
Afro,
Y'all
right.
got
can I say
anything?
something? Afro, can I say one thing and I'm gonna drop off? Statistically speaking, FBA black men are still marrying FBA women at the highest rate. Okay. Um, we're still the culture. We will always be the culture. And
Mhm.
we can't lose focus on getting our reparations, our black anti-crime bill. Like I said, this individual, she made her choice. And like unfortunately she's not here anymore, but it is what it is. We gotta keep pushing. Be one family.
All right. Black first to
Can
you.
I say one more thing too? Because I know you have other people, but BX made a lot of good points, right? I don't understand why us being the number one people in the world, right? Why people think that we should sit here like, walking on eggshells around them. I found it very weird and interesting that here's this person who's a Bedouin, right? Delineation was talking about what was he talking about earlier? The Willie Lynch letters or whatever. It's the same cycle happening over and over again. And we think, why are we not coming out of this, this position? Not me, are most of us mainstream FBAs, because here's a bad wench having bad wench behavior. And we're supposed to sit here and say it softly. Absolutely not. That's why you guys get chin checked outside of the whatever your weird diaspora is, right? It's called diaspora, by the way, not diaspora. Diaspora. So you're African selling
Jasmine,
diaspora.
that's a
I'm
man thing.
sorry. I
Mm.
know, I'm sorry, but like you're diaspora, right?
Mm.
Um, no, we don't have, you can't tone police us here. We have different tones or whatever. And this is what happens when you sit here and let white tea people play in your face. You can bring up all the statistics about like, like when black women marry like black women, that's 2.5 part of femicide, whatever. White K beast behavior. That happened to us in the 60s. We should have never integrated with them and listened to these freaking crybabies. So now we're pointing it out. You divest, you want your freaking lobster and pasta, you want your like, feminine, fit, and friendly, white TKBs playing in the snow, you'll be unalive. We don't freaking care. Respectfully, disrespectfully. Now what? So that's what I wanted to say before we moved on. I land there.
All right. All right. Now, let me say
Can I
this.
say something?
Yeah, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go. Um, I'm gonna say this. Uh, if you guys, because there's some people who I've seen, y'all been in here pretty much the whole time, and y'all have had differences of opinion, and there's a spot open right now, so you guys can request up. Y'all can let us know what you think. But all right, you can go ahead. Hearts, sons.
Results.
Yeah, you got
Okay.
it.
Okay, so I'm not FBA, but I just wanted to add something. And I just want to say that I understand. Like, I really get like the stance that FBA take on this, because of how like immigrants to the US, like I'm in the UK, so it's not even a thing over here. But I understand like how marginalized or how sidelined foundational Black Americans can be by immigrants that come over, and then they benefit from the labor of African Americans, but not want to contribute to kind of their cause and the civil rights that they fought for and built for. So I completely understand that. But in regards to this young woman, I just think I think it starts with healing, if that makes sense. And I know most people are going to disagree with me on this, but I think once you're unalived, you don't have a chance to reform, right? And as long as you're alive, you have the ability to change, to grow, to develop. And this is what makes this tragic, not just because of the things that she's done, but she'll never be able to grow from that. This is where her story ends. This is where she'll be frozen in time. This is her legacy, essentially. And that's what I mourn more than anything else. The fact that she will never be able to be better. She'll
Mm.
never be able to, I guess, see the error of her ways. And so for me, that's really, really tragic more than anything. But also, I think when I say healing, I'm talking about, I think people have to be able to find safe space. Like we have to be a community, and I completely understand that you guys see yourselves as a separate community, but I see like a global Black diaspora. And so to me, anytime a member of my community, that's a member of my family, when some harm is done to them, regardless of how bad their behavior was, it's like, now if this was your sister, you might not agree with her views, but you'd be tragically broken to suffer this. And that's how I see other Black people. I see you guys as my brothers and my sisters, like literal family. So when something like this happens, it hurts me to see her speak in this way and behave in this way and be the one tearing down BLK men. That hurts. That is a betrayal. I see why people use the word treason. And I completely understand that. But as my sister, I'm also broken that this has happened to her. I'm also broken that she never got to learn. She never got to be a voice for the cause. She never got to be a voice for her people because she never got to learn that. So I think, I'll always be, for me personally, I'll always be a safe place for BLK people. No matter how far they go, I want them to always be able to reform. And if that's something that I can help with, that space I'll always offer. And yeah, so that's all I wanted to say.
Mm. I got a
I have a
couple
question.
questions for you. I have a couple questions. First, you said you were from where again?
The UK,
Or you're
United
still in the
Kingdom.
UK, right?
Yeah,
Have you ever been to the States?
I've never been there. I've never visited.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now, I know in the UK there's a different dating dynamic when it
Mhm.
comes to interracial relationships and things like that. First off, where's your family's ethnicity from? Is it
Sudan.
African or
So we're
Caribbean?
African. No, we're
Okay.
African.
Okay. Okay. As far as the dating dynamic in the UK, where is the standard of sticking to the same race and all that stuff. What would have been the difference if this happened in the UK? What do you think the UK, I guess, Black Brits or whatever they call them, what would they have been saying?
To be fair, the discussions are really, really similar. So like I know most of the things that are happening in the US, and it's very, very parallel. We do have the same standards of you stick to your own. And even as I was having this discussion with my sister earlier, I was saying to her, I was like, yeah, but you expect things. I'm really sorry to say, but you kind of expect things like that. Like it doesn't surprise you when you hear that this young woman has been alived by her whitey. Like it happens so often, whether it's here. I mean, we've had 5 BLK women found in bodies of water.
Okay, well, okay.
All
I
over
just
the
want
UK,
to
all over
let me
London.
follow up with this. From my knowledge, now I gotta, I guess, double check on that because that was some years ago. But from my understanding, interracial relationships was a pretty normalized thing in the UK.
Yeah, I think it happens a lot
So
more than the US. It really does happen, but it's nowhere near the majority. It's still a minority. Overwhelmingly, BLK people still marry BLK people, and you have to understand we
now,
don't have
now, can
foundational
I ask?
blacks here. Yeah.
Now, when there is an interracial relationship, is there a stigma coming from the family? Is there like a, oh, why'd you bring her home? Like, what is the reaction from the family when they bring a YT person home,
I think there's
man
less
or
and less
woman?
of a stigma. There's less and less of a stigma. Like I think in the 90s it would have been more, and with each passing year it's less. But I think it's important to understand the
Mm,
context. There's no foundational blacks here. So you've got the Caribbeans, but you've got African diaspora. But I think sometimes we have this way of brushing over the entire community as in we're all black. We're not. Like Sudanese people stick with Sudanese people. Nigerians stick with Nigerians. Ghana,
mhm.
there isn't this mixture. So people stick to their own communities. Um, and yes, unfortunately, I think there's a lot more openness for you to bring a YT person than there is to bring another African or somebody from the Caribbean, another black person who's different from you,
Mm, okay,
sadly.
okay. Because I find that very interesting. Because there was, and the reason why I'm asking you these questions is because when I first started my YouTube channel, there was a guy from the UK who used to email me. We would go back and forth, and he would tell me about he said all of his siblings were in interracial relationships, and he was the only pro-black person there. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I started looking that up. And he was also from the UK. And I started
Mm,
looking up, and that's like a very common thing. You know what
it
I'm
is quite
saying? That's a
common.
very common and very normalized thing. Even though you see it here, it's not a normalized thing. Even though you see it, it's not like if you bring a non-black person, especially YT, to the cookout here, there's still like there's a code, there's a ethnic code that we have as foundational Black Americans that just
Yeah.
doesn't seem to exist anywhere else in the world, really.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't want you to
So
think it's as normal as that as well. Like, it's not
okay, it's
that
not
widely.
okay.
It's still it's common and it's more and more accepted. If somebody brought a YT person out, people won't really bat an
Mm,
eyelid like that. There is a lot more integration in that sense, but at the same time, there's a really growing presence of pro-blackness that people don't really talk about, and it's because people feel uncomfortable talking about it. But it is growing, and as I was growing up, this is the group that I grew up with. You know, the people that were like, we need to further not just Black interest, but Pan Africanism. And, you know, like I said, this is why I know so much about what happens to in America, for example, because we're bridging that gap, right? And it's about, and again, I know not everybody in the group agrees, but it's about a wider diaspora rather than just individually isolated Black communities, because we do think numbers make a difference. We do think a united, like we had huge BLM, as much as we might not necessarily support them like that, but we still had like a huge turnout, and the Black community over here was, you know, was really trying to be supportive of FBA. And even one of the things that radicalized me personally was after Trayvon Martin was unalived, and I saw the protest
mm,
that happened here. I didn't even, I saw the protest before I even knew what happened, and I was like, what are people protesting? And then I learned, and so there was a lot of solidarity, even though you guys might not know about it. So while yes, interracial relationships are becoming more common, but so is going back to Black Black roots and, furthering Black interests. That's also a growing trend.
Okay, cool. Well, I appreciate you letting us know that. Now, I'm not sure if I think this is our first time speaking or whatever the case is. I don't know about your profile or anything like that. But what I would like to see in the future, well, I would like to see now, is that people who do believe in what you believe, I would like to see you all address people, in the UK and address non-FBAs about your idea of unity, because it's the thing that is interesting to me is that the idea of unity gets preached a lot to found, and I'm not saying that you're preaching it, but it gets talked about, and I believe this wholeheartedly, and we're all the same, and all of that stuff. It gets preached to us a lot, and then when I see, UK people talking about, because they be talking out the side of their neck about how we unintelligent and the American education system don't teach us nothing and all that. I don't see a lot of Black Brits that's really stomping, and I don't see a lot of Black Brits that's, standing up and being all like, you can't talk to them like that, and we need to stop being disrespectful, like, you know what I'm saying? So I just find it, interesting, and I would like to see the energy that you're giving us. I would like to see that on towards the people who are disrespectful towards us, in the future.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
No, I mean, I completely agree with you.
I'm not trying to throw no shade at you. I don't know what you've done, or I don't know you. We've just met now, but in the future, it would be a good sight to see.
And I
To
completely
see
Like
agree
to
with you,
say,
but I think
Heartson, you're not even talking about the topic. And I know I
Yeah.
had to say this for the rest of the people in the comments and whatever.
Okay.
What does
Yeah.
your
But we're gonna move.
Britishness have to
We're
do with
gonna move. We're
us?
gonna move on. Yeah, we're gonna move
no, I
on.
mean, to be fair, I did. I made a
No,
point about how
you're taking
We're,
it
we're
away. I
gonna
don't know
we're
why
gonna
you
move
Black
on.
Brits feel this
no,
way. We
We're
don't
gonna
Jasmine,
care.
Okay,
Jasmine, I did answer
Okay,
the question.
okay, Pam.
I
Yeah,
did
yeah. We
address the
got it. We
topic,
got it. We
but I
got
was
it. We got it.
also answering
Okay,
Afro's
maybe you
questions
can't hear
about
me
the
that
UK.
well, but thank you. We're gonna move on. All right. But in the future, all of the, the unity and all that stuff, I would just like to see that when we get disrespected, because when we get disrespected, all of the people who claim to care about unity and all of that stuff, they're just very absent. They're invisible. They're gone. You know what I'm saying? So I just find that very interesting, and I would like to not see that anymore. But we're going to move forward, and we're going to get to Ronnie.
Hello there, everybody. Thank
Ronnie,
you.
talk to us.
Hey, what's up with it? Thank you for letting me up. I'll try to keep this quick. So, first off, I don't condone any violence, especially to someone who's melanated, especially by a white person. I'm not with that at all. I would like to say, I'm 33. I'm from Sacramento, California. I found out about Dr. Francis Cress Welsing back in 2024 from my partner in Atlanta. I've been in Atlanta for a couple of years. And I didn't read the book, but I listened to it on YouTube called The ISIS Papers. And a lot of what I was hearing and what Dr. Francis Cress Welsing said, and I'm paraphrasing, but she was saying if you're a black, you forgiving white folks and their history for what they did to our people, she considers it a mental illness. Before I even found out about her when I was a little kid, I grew up having like physical altercations with white folks, right? And I always felt some type of way. And I'm the most light-skinned motherfucker on this side of the Mississippi, right? But I don't have a white parent and a black parent. Both my parents are FBA, but I do have white ancestry, right? And I was raised in a black household, so was my parents. With that being said, I always felt like yeah, these, like, white folks, like, we got plantation beef with these people. And not all white people are bad, because I got white folks in my family, but I'm talking about them, the supremacists, and just by historical facts and all the shit. I always felt, like, uneasy, and always, I feel some type of way about them. With that being said, I've been involved myself with almost, every type of woman except for like an Asian, right? But even when I was younger, I always told myself when I have a baby, it's going to be with a black American woman, and that's what I did. So I'm a move past that. I would like to say too, I didn't know much about the situation, but when I got on here and y'all started talking about she was having anti black man sentiments, that right there is a no-go for me. You feel me? I personally think that if you go against the lineage, you should unalive 1,000 unalives. You feel me? I'm not with none of that. And for whatever reason, you can feel some type of way about a person, but I'm not with disparaging black folks. I think black folks is beautiful. We're everything, and especially for you to be feeling like that and saying shit like that about the men in your community, if she is one of us, or even if she's not, but you fucking with white dudes, that's all the way out. And even vice versa, if a black dude was doing that, I'm not with none of that. And Afro, you said something about if you want to keep in mind, like, if would this still be the same if she didn't have the anti views? Now I'm a land. So look, my dad, right? He got a whole bunch of white baby mamas. My mom's not one of them, and I'm not, trying to defend her, but my dad's a player, and he always fucked with honkies, right? And he got babies by him. But my dad, he's
I feel like I'm in a black exploitation movie when you said the H word, honkies.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Oh God, go ahead.
Yeah, but
It's
in my
arcade beast.
my dad, and this is just off the top of my head. My dad, off the top of my head, he's the only person I could think of that has like children and relationships with white women, and he stays on code as far as black. My dad's African nation. He's Black Gorilla 415. You feel me, from Richmond. And when it comes to black people, my dad's always been on code. And I'm gonna land with this. I was in a brother panel last night who I like here on TikTok, and they were talking about the imagery when it comes to interracial relationships, like in commercials and on TV. And they made a point to how they always show, when they want to promote interracial relationships, it's always the white dude. Most often than not, it's the white dude with a black mom, and then the interracial baby. And I made a comment about how that's deliberate, because they don't want to show a black man with the white woman and then the interracial baby, right, the black baby, because they want to promote the white dude taking our women instead of the black man taking their women. And one thing I do know is the dad is the head of the household and the family, right? And even though the mom is the first teacher, when there is a family structure, the dad is on the top of everything. So if the dad is white, they would rather have a white dad with a black mom. And you growing up with a white dad versus a black dad, and you being a mixed kid, those are two totally different things. I'm gonna keep this quick, but I'm gonna land. I got a cousin named Sade. She got a partner who's FBA in Florida. That lady, her friend, has a white husband, and they have a child. Shit, she was telling us about how, and the kid's like 13 or something, but anyways, they was walking around the neighborhood in Florida, and there was some old school cars in the neighborhood, and the dad, who's a white dude, was walking around with his son, and they was checking out the old schools, putting their hands up to the windows and all that stuff or whatever. And when they went home, the son ended up telling the mom what they were doing on their walk. And the mom, she from Oakland, the town, and she ended up flashing on the dad, who's the white dude, and she was telling him, it's not okay for you to be having our son, making him think that it's okay to walk up to people's cars, and they live in a white neighborhood, and putting hands on glass and checking out shit. She was like, and the dad didn't understand why, and she had to tell him, he's black. Even though you're his dad, he's black. Our kid can't walk up through a white neighborhood and just be checking out people's cars and looking and shit, because that's dangerous. That's almost a death sentence for our child. And it comes down to a cultural thing, so and I'm gonna land with that. But rest in peace to the sister. And I want people of the lineage to think about everything we do. But you guys got to remember, these people, we got plantation beef with these folks. And I'm gonna land with that.
Say something, because I just thought of something. So throughout documentation, there has always been a box for biracials, right? But if they're white tea and black American, we accept them as black. But people who are bi-ethnic or have bi-ethnic children, they are told they're not black. They're not foundational. So I think we got to rethink some things as a people, because it just hit me when he was talking. And the biracial, whose mom is actually white tea, even though one drop rule has been unconstitutional since 1967, we're still calling them black. But there's a whole box for them. There's a whole category, biracial. But now when a bi-ethnic comes up and they say, well, I'm bi-ethnic, but I'm foundational, and some of us will be like, you're not black, you're not foundational. So I think, yeah, we
BX,
have
can I
to
pick
talk and
your
think
brain
about
really
these vibes.
quickly?
Hold on. We got to get to the
Yeah,
other.
I'm sorry. I just want to say that.
Oh, like really quickly, like I'm gonna forget, because BX had a very strong point. I swear, it's maybe like 20
Real quick.
seconds. Thank
Okay.
you. 20 seconds. I just want to put this in people's head based off what she just said. Is it worse being biracial or bi-ethnic? They also, to me, they seem equally confused. The biracial and bi-ethnic seem, it's not for you. There's someone else in the panel, but I just want to put that out there. And that was something I've been thinking about recently, right? Because it's custom and courtesies. I think personally, I think they're the same, one the same, whether you're biracial or bi-ethnic. So that's all I want to say.
All right. Let's get to the next speaker. Let's get to Digit, and then we'll get to Violet, Violin, and then we'll get to Max.
What up, y'all? And B1.
Like first to you, brother. Yeah.
So, I do think the young lady was off code with the stuff she posted. And for that, I have a lack of sympathy for her because she has so many examples of not to F around and find out. But I am conflicted about letting a YT guy just touch our women and there will be no repercussions. I mean, that's just from a standpoint of power that, you know, regardless of what she was confused about or what she said, it's not about her. It's about what we're going to allow them to do to us, especially if she's FBA. So I'll land there because that's all I had to say.
All right. All right. Interesting perspective. I mean, I'm just, to be honest, if y'all notice, I'm not doing a lot of talking. I'm really just gathering information because I feel like it's important to kind of just let the community weigh in on the subject. Now, I have opinions. I do have opinions. I've had opinions about everything every speaker has said thus far, but sometimes it's best to just listen.
Afro, can I say respond to
Hold on,
BX
hold
really
on, hold
quick?
on, hold on, though, because there's people who've been waiting, and we got to be fair, right? So we got to get to Violin.
And I'm ready. Just let me know when I get.
Go ahead.
So, okay. I feel like, statistically wise, black women are the least, I will say this, married or whatever they want to say. So she was trying to just find her love. You know what I'm saying? Now she tried to find her love with the wrong partner, and I don't know. Do you know when emotions come? Whether he did something wrong to her, or she did something wrong, that's emotions. Truth is truth. But the mixed reaction is the fact that they cannot fathom the fact that a black woman has a white man and that, they were together. But the fact of the matter is that he was violent and he most likely did the crime that they don't want to admit that he did. And it wasn't her. She's not the loud, ghetto, violent person. It was him. He was the family annihilator. Allegedly, and sue me. I don't care. Like, what you gonna get? 2 pennies and a piece of lint? I don't care. But I just look at it like we go for where love is. And she's young. And honestly, I don't care if people don't agree with me. That's my thing. I don't care. I don't care. But because black women will go where we black women will go where we feel we are appreciated. And when we show we are not appreciated, we leave. And then if we can't leave, this is what happened. Whoop-de-doo. That happens. And it's unfortunately it's sad.
Okay.
It's terrible. But the why Ashlee Janae is getting the mix. I just Afro Elite, can I ask you a question?
Go
Can I
ahead.
ask you a question?
Hmm.
So, would you rather a black woman be lonely and never get any love and never get any wait, son, please be quiet and be appreciated by because no, I ain't gonna ask you that. Never mind. But I love y'all. No, I ain't even about to ask you that. That was
Uh
crazy.
oh.
Nah,
Uh
I ain't gonna ask you that. That
oh.
was crazy. No.
Okay.
But all I wanted to say is I appreciate black women and black men, and I will do anything to make sure that we get the love. That's all. But for this, look at that picture, Afro. Look how young she looks. Look how old he looks. He prayed on her. Look how young she looks, and look how old he looks. He prayed on her. That's a baby in the face. And I don't got no sympathy for him at all. That's a baby. Look at her. She looks like a child to us. And he looking at her like a prey. I have no sympathy for that.
Mm.
But
Everybody mute up until it's your turn. Just mute up. We'll get to you guys. We'll
okay.
get to you.
Do I need to mute?
No, the new speakers. I just invited new speakers, and they were getting off their mute. So I don't want a lot of background noise and all that. All right, I'm gonna
Okay.
let you land though, because we got new
I
speakers
just want to
coming
say
up though.
this.
Uh
Look at
huh.
her face. She looked like she going to prom. He looked like he going to a funeral. Oh my goodness. She
Mm,
looked like she going to a prom. He looked like he going to a funeral.
okay.
That looked like his biracial child. So I didn't expect nothing less. And I feel grief, but I didn't expect nothing less.
Mm.
I'm sick of it.
How old do you think she is?
She looked
In her
19, 20, 21. This
Hold on, ma'am,
yeah,
ma'am. Come on. I'm gonna let you speak. You just got in here. She was speaking.
she's in her 20s for sure. He's not in his 20s
Okay. Okay.
because I've been her and I dated men like him. So if she want to talk to me, she can. I talk to men that own clubs. So I was her
Okay.
and she was taken advantage of.
Okay.
And if she was in her
And the reason
30s,
why
then I don't know.
I'm asking because I didn't check her age before I started the live, so of course I'm gonna have to double check. But
She's
it's a bunch of
31.
people
Oh
in
my
the
gosh,
chat
she
room
looks
saying she
great
was
for her age.
31. So
But do he
that's why
look
I'm asking.
31? Do he look 31 is my question.
No, he's 57.
Thank ya. Thank you.
Okay. But I'm gonna let
I
you land.
rest
I'm
it.
gonna let you land though. I'm gonna let you
Okay,
land because I
I'll
want to
let my
make
I
sure we
know.
get to the new speakers
Okay,
up
and you
here.
can drop me too. You can drop
Okay.
me. All I wanted to say was black women and black men get preyed upon, especially black men. Black men are always so mature. Black men. But in this case, she was preyed on. So when you want to talk about black men, add me up. I love y'all. That's all.
All right.
Yo, is it me or
I'm
do
curious.
violence
I'm
sound like
very
I
curious
left
what that
out?
question was.
You
I'm
sound like
actually
left
please
curious
out,
what
don't
that
be
man.
question was,
curious.
but
Now's
maybe
not
it's
the
better
time, Afro.
unasked. Maybe
No.
And
it's
Ask
better
that
drop me.
question.
unasked. But
Violence.
I will say
Ask
though,
it.
before we move on, everyone, based off of all of the speakers, we've had differences of opinion and all that. There's been a general consensus among every single speaker here that it was him who did it to her. It was not her who did it to herself, which is the narrative that they're pushing out there. It was him. I'm pretty sure I've not seen anybody doubt that even. So we can all agree on that part. So,
Amen.
yep. Let's get to
Afro,
Max.
is it me or do violence sound like left out?
Do what?
Violent remind me so much of left out. And that's a compliment, sis. I'm not joking. Right? That's a compliment, sis.
Yeah, so
I never picked up on
what's
that,
up,
brother.
Afro? Shout out to you, man. Shout
What's the
out
word,
to the
brother? Yeah, talk to.
yes, sir. Shout out to the family. B1. You
Mm-hmm.
know what it is. Shoot, we met in DC actually during the rally. Family, if y'all ain't been to DC, make sure y'all go visit. It's a lot of beautiful history out there.
Shoot, and I ain't pay for not one drink my whole time out there. I'm from St. Louis, but I'm in LA right now. So I was like, is this how Mexicans feel? It was nice. So make sure y'all go visit DC. Anyway, based on Ashlee, uh we get mixed reactions based off her, history. Um and I understand it, but at the end of the day, I feel like us as black men, we should just kind of stay out of it. Make sure justice is served, and then, land on that. And a little bit about, this dude right now. His name is Joe. And at the end of the day, people was like, he's worth 50 million or something like that. But just in 2024, his company, he lost like $100 million in 1 year. So he was going crazy. Then he tried to start up another company that failed. He was asking for 1.5 million. So he was definitely going through something. And then the days that Ashlee wasn't here anymore, he was on X tweeting or, doing random or just talking about random stuff, basically still trying to get investors. So the dude probably went crazy because he lost a whole bunch of money. But at the end of the day, with our women, I understand sometimes, like, yeah, they date out. Same thing with our men. Sometimes they date out. But at the end of the day, we cannot allow ourselves to denigrate our people while we're doing that. If that's what we choose what to do. You see what I'm saying? If you want to date outside, that's what you're going to do. I don't think us as a community have the right to degrade our sisters or our brothers for doing that. I think we should just caution them and then accept them as it is, and let them know, hey, we don't like it, but we still love you as a people. And then lastly, I'm gonna land on this real quick. There's a difference between like actual love and exploitation. And I sometimes feel like these people exploit our women. And sometimes I can feel like it's love. But right now, in this situation with her, I feel like it was a lot of exploitation going on with her. And yes, she was old, so she knows where she's going. And there was exploitation on both sides. You get what I'm saying? Because I guarantee you she was working whatever she could work to get whatever she could get from him. And I guarantee you he was working whatever he could to get from her. So it was just a double side weirdness going on. And on this trip, he proposed to her, which is actually crazy. So I'm thinking, like, did he propose and think that was so much of a mistake that that's what ended up causing him to do what he was doing? Or was it the fact that he lost this whole $100 million 2 years ago, spent a year trying to build up 1.5 million, couldn't get it, and then this is what caused the entity? But I land on that, man. Peace to the family, and I appreciate y'all.
I'm gonna drop down. I want to say this to him really quickly because I have to. That's what I was waiting for, because I said that when I first came on to your live. He was a failing cryptocurrency YTK guy. They don't look at us the same because they are lacking melanin, and they, to me, are on a spectrum. Like, they're perpetually on a spectrum, all of them. Just very, the sun hates them or whatever, right? So why would he take her out there to Tanzania? Last month, there was another Tanzanian content creator that was unalived in her highly secured apartment building, whatever, and they don't have the same security measures that we have here, right? But someone that follows rules and understands where you, like, just Google, like, where could you go somewhere and just kind of commit a crime and no one's going to care against women? So that's that one thing, right? Then if you just look at this guy with his KBCality, that's the reason we keep bringing that to you, Max, by the way, because it does matter. That's what I don't agree with, right? But why would he do that? It's easy to collect an insurance policy, right? He did I have conflicting information about this. He did
That's a
contact
good point.
the parents after the fact. Apparently, he was held, for like 11 hours. So I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not going to speculate on that. But why would you go over there? Um, basically marry her, like, and then come back. Here's the weirdest thing. This is the
That's a
part,
good
the part
point.
that
He has a claim.
everybody keeps glazing over. He literally took down all the pictures of them and started talking about his selling freaking cryptocurrency again, right? Started talking about his stolen cryptocurrency again. So it's the same thing. Well, I'm not going to say it's all men. It's not all white men. But these people with their melanin deficiency, they look at us, our melanated cells, like we are products. And he did that to her on purpose. Whether she's a tether or not, we all know what it is.
I
But also,
work
I don't
with
really give a fuck because, hey, you should be on code and stop playing with these cave beasts. These people strange treat us. These people will bomb us. These people will do all kind of things to us. Not
Yes,
only us, but animals
yes.
and children too, whatever. So
I'm just
Yeah,
anyways,
gotta
I
saying
watch the
land there.
And
language. You
I'm
gotta.
not
I
saying
work
I'm sorry.
Wait
I
a
work
minute.
with
Gotta watch the
okay,
language. You
hold.
gotta
I
be.
understand, but these people are disgusting. But I'm gonna land there. But
that.
Max, I agreed with the first part of what you said with the crypto thing.
Oh, but
That's
okay.
we had to look into, and then I'm
Yeah,
gonna
It's
we're
a
gonna
good
land.
look
point
into it. But
because
hold
he
on.
Golly.
Hey,
does have a claim.
look, y'all. Everybody, this has been too much of a back and forth conversation, and we gotta let the room flow. There's 3 people up here who have not spoken. There's people in the queue, so we're just gonna have to let the room flow. But don't worry, guys. Don't worry. We'll get to people. But I appreciate everybody. Okay, whether you agree or disagree with anything that's been said, thank you for being here. Uh, let's get to she the one.
Okay, so I'm looking at stuff at all different angles. I think it was something either she heard or she seen that she wasn't supposed to see or heard. It's something. She's young. Look at both of them. According to me, it looked like she probably found them off of a website or something. Just look at them. She has a baby face. She's young, so I'm not saying she was an escort, but if come on, we got to think outside the box. Look, she's very beautiful. So it had to have been something she wasn't supposed to hear or see, or it was something. So he know what he had to do to, get her to, like think. Look at her face. She's a baby. Look at that picture. That's a baby face. It was something that she probably ran into, something she heard, something that she wasn't supposed to hear or be around or see something. Look at him and look at her. Something.
Okay, maybe. Yeah, there's a lot of
So
information
he
we
probably
still
took
waiting
her,
on.
he probably took her out the country, manipulated her, just, do the things that she liked, and he did what he did. How long have they been with each other? It
I
just
wonder.
doesn't
I
make
wondered
sense.
that
Look at
too.
her.
I've been getting conflicting reports about
That
how
just,
long, not only they knew each other, but how long they were in a relationship and all of that stuff. Because
yeah, she's a
you
baby.
know.
Look at her face. Look
Yeah.
at him. She looked like
Somebody,
she
yeah.
found them off of like a millionaire website or something. Just think outside the box. Like, come on now.
Yeah. Somebody saying a year and a half. Okay.
And you know how these
All right.
young
Appreciate
girls
that.
is. She's very beautiful. She's on social media. She's famous. Just think about it. Come on now.
Yep. All right. Yeah, it
Money.
could
Not
be.
saying it like that, but just think. Come on now.
Yeah, it could be. Let's get to the a
That's
couple
it.
other speakers.
That's it.
Appreciate that. That's a theory. That's a theory. Could be. She the one. You got it.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, I'm
Hmm.
listening, and like the more I'm looking at him, like you can just see he's definitely a demon for sure. And like he just looks, something doesn't look off. His aura looks off for sure. This was definitely premeditated, because why are you isolating her from her family and friends back at home? Like I feel like discernment would have played a huge part in this too, because what I heard is that they met on Tinder, and when you look at someone and when you're sitting with someone, you can feel a vibe. Something must be off. I believe she knew a little something, but for whatever reason, she stayed. I don't know if that was manipulation or whatever people want to call it, but yeah, like 'cause she was already getting money, and the more I think about it, yeah, I don't know. It's just really sad. It really is. But yeah, that's just my input.
Mm, appreciate that. All right, let's get to Mo Correct Than You.
Peace, everybody. I don't know what her background is or her history, but I do know if they're not from FBA or Black from America, when people say they're not on code, they don't have the same code as us. They don't say have the same history as us, and it's not the same like interracial dating. To me, I think that somebody was saying how they always show pictures of like the black woman and the white man and this and that because they don't want us around their women, their men around the women. And I do feel bad for her and everything, but I do want something to happen with this because y'all remember with the juice, right? OJ.
Mm-hmm.
The whole reason why their community couldn't let that go. They couldn't stand it that something happened to their woman. They couldn't handle it. Everybody was upset. Everybody was just mad. And the temperature was real high because they couldn't they couldn't stand the thought of him getting away with what he did. But they've been doing it to us for years. So it is time for them to start doing something about this. It's time. With our whole history of especially with our Emmett Till and everything, the history of that. Like, I don't have a problem with people interracially dating. It's just don't disparage your people. Don't talk down on your people. And she shouldn't have done that. But with the history of our people, they've been able to get unalive when it's the opposite, So we need to. We do need to. Does need to be something said or done about this, because it's like they just don't even care. It's like she's just something else. The next month, if no one's talking about it, it's gonna get buried. But I do think this was like some kind of elitist sacrifice or something. Maybe he was into something and had to go do something. I don't know. I just think outside the box. Maybe he had to do something to get into some kind of club or something, because they do that. So I just, that's just what it just don't make sense.
Yeah, we still waiting on more information.
Right.
Yep.
But that's all I had to say. It's just when the juice did that, man, they couldn't wait to get him somehow, some way. And people was up in arms. You can't even say his name without them looking at you crazy today. And so I'm just saying there's need to be some laws changed. We got to value our people. Arlen.
All right then, appreciate that. Let's get to Venus.
My thing is, it seems like some black men only care about innocent black women dying when it comes to weaponizing
Can you
their
say
experience.
unalive? Can you
Sorry, unaliving. When it comes to innocent black women unaliving, they seem to only care when they want to weaponize that experience against other races or to perpetrate a narrative. This is not just about race, it's also about gender, right? Women have been the victims of men for centuries. There's so many women like this gorgeous girl on the screen who have gone through similar things. But why is no one giving that the same energy? There's many innocent black women that were unalived by their husbands. The leading cause of unalivement in pregnant women isn't illness, but their male counterparts or the fathers of the children that they're carrying unaliving them. That is the leading cause of unalivement in pregnant women. But people don't want to talk about it. I'm not sure how this has turned into something about race. I'm not sure when 80% of...
Before I will explain it. Okay. Because I've seen I've kind of been listening for the last couple of days about people saying it's not a racial thing, it's more of a gender thing. So I will explain it as to the racial aspect of it. But before I do, where are you from? I hear the accent, so where are you from?
I'm from Australia, but I'm Liberian.
Okay. Are you in the States now or
in the States?
In United States.
No, I'm not in the United States.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, let me explain to you about this being a racial thing and why this is a thing. Because this is a pretty cut and dry situation, a pretty cut and dry case, right? Now, I'm pretty sure there's a consensus that if both these people were black, that you wouldn't be having the media and law enforcement pretty much make excuses and give him passes and things like that. I'm not trying to say that we don't have unfortunate, horrific situations of violence against women. I'm not trying to say that at all, but I'm trying to get people to understand that this is not the only case. But when it's a YT male who does it, it's a very different reaction, not only from law enforcement, but also from the media and everything like that. Like the fact that he was able to go home and still be on social media and all of that. And law enforcement is saying that she did it to herself. And this is what makes it a racial situation, because if he was a black man, law enforcement would not be saying she did this to herself. They wouldn't be, even if she did, they would exhaust all options before they publicly said that they believe she did it to herself. The fact that that was their first response is him having his racial privilege in this situation. So this is what makes this a racial situation.
Okay, I completely understand that aspect. I more so meant, how did this become, oh, black women need to stop dating white men because this is what happens. I understand the side that you're talking about completely,
that, by the way.
right? But no, people have been saying that. People have been using
Nobody out here
situations
said
like
that.
this to, I've seen it in the comments. I've seen it everywhere.
Okay,
Right? Let's not be ignorant. Like, it's very obvious that people are using this.
Okay. So hold on. Because you're saying that this shouldn't be a reason or a justification that black women should stop dating white men?
Yes, because black men do the same thing. And before you explained the race thing to me, that side of it, what I was going to quote you is the fact that in America specifically, because I know I'm somewhere else, 80% of homicides against black women are done by black men. But then we have that gets overlooked, and then we have a situation like this.
No, it doesn't necessarily get overlooked, because you have to understand statistics with it, though. 80% of black women are with black men, so that's just going to be the reality of it. When it comes to unfortunate violence with any group of people, it's going to happen within their own group of people. So let's not construe this and put this in some type of narrative that it's black men are particularly out for black women and then white men are not that way.
That's not the narrative I'm trying to say. Right. I'm trying to say that we can't spin this in a manner where we can look at this. Look, this is just my thing, right? I'm not disagreeing with you. This is just my thing. This is just my thing. I'm not saying you're doing this, but what I'm seeing is people spinning narratives like this for ammunition against people choosing to date outside of their race. And I'm single. I'm not dating. I'm not on the market. I don't have a white boyfriend, all this stuff. I'm just speaking objectively. If we're going to use an instance like this to go ahead and say, oh, this is what they do to black women when they date outside their race, we have to look at what's actually happening inside black relationships as well.
Okay,
we can't single this situation.
Okay.
As a foundational black American woman with a different history than an Australian African, because the Australian African was a problem.
Okay. I know. I'm gonna get there. There's a reason I'm going back and forth with her. I'm gonna get there. Don't worry. That's why I asked where you were from. That's the first question I asked.
I'm just asking to be objective. I'm just saying, let's just be fair when we're looking at
that I brought up the situation. Can you concede to the fact that if he was a black male, the law enforcement and the media would be different? So due to the fact that when it comes to a male harming a female, when it comes to gender violence, white or YT males are more likely to get away with that. Is that not something that should deter black women from that type of relationship?
Well, I don't think that from a objective standpoint that it means that these white men are getting away with it more. I just think that when it comes to legally, right, they're obviously white men are going to have an advantage in that system. But when it comes to certain communities, abusers are literally protected. And some people have these traditional mindsets
Well,
where
no,
they
well,
still think
hold
that
on,
the
because hold on, you're diverting the conversation. I'm
no, I'm
asking
not diverting it. I'm
because you
saying that
said that you don't
legally,
like the reason. Hold on, man. The reason I'm saying this is because you said you don't like the fact that people are using this as a talking point against black women with YT men. And this is why I'm saying, well, the reason why people are using this, black men and women are using this as a reason is because of the fact that the white T men have a lot of excuse and passes, and it seems like protection that a black man is not going to have in the same circumstance. And you agree on that. But I don't know why you want to keep overlooking that point and to make this seem as if this is a racially blind situation.
I completely understand with what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not claiming that it's a racially blind situation. I'm claiming that this, let's just say this methodology that you're using to
Mm-hmm.
say that, hey, you know, you shouldn't date a white man because if he puts his hands on you, no one's going to believe you. I'm saying that similar instances like that also happen, you know, in the black community as well, right? Like, although they may not be protected by the system, like it's very obvious that, like, I'm sorry to say, this is also statistics that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, marriages between black people have more domestic violence. I'm sorry, that can be due to different factors, like maybe socioeconomic status, education, and stuff like that. But we do have higher domestic violence rates. So if we're gonna say that, oh, he's gonna beat you and not get
Mm-hmm.
caught, the alternative is to be with someone who's more likely to end up in an abusive relationship with you. It seems like as a woman, there isn't really anywhere to turn, right?
All right. Well, the thing is that, well, when a black woman is with, first off, in most let me ask you this question: do you believe most relationships with black men and black women are violent or have even violence in it?
I won't say most, but I would say a lot. Like I
What
can pull up the statistics for you if you want.
give a number from 1 to 100. What is a lot? What percentage is a lot?
I would say about 40%, not
You
half,
believe
but like
40%. You
30
believe
to 40%.
30 to 40% of relationships between black men and black women are violent, and they're violent to each other.
Well, not okay. Violent, I wouldn't say is the word, but
Well, because everybody's
they
going to
would
argue, but
consist,
so I'm
I
talking
would
about
say,
actual violence.
consist of abuse.
Well, no, well, because that's subjective then. Because I'm talking about violence. I'm talking about people harming the other person.
Yeah, I would say violence. Yeah, sure.
So you feel like 40%?
Well, when we look at, hold on, when we look at
Okay.
the experiences of a lot of Black people growing up, whether you're,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you want to say African or Black American, when we look at a lot of our experiences
Mm-hmm.
growing up, a lot of us grew up in broken homes, right?
Okay.
Speak for
That's
your
a
So if
speak for your
that's
fact.
the
country,
case, if
fam.
that's the case, then if that's the case,
It's not just me speaking
would you
for
make the
Africans.
argue
The
though? Hold on.
Yeah,
statistics
Would
are
you make the
online
argue?
for us to look at.
yeah. I got statistics for your
Hold
country
on,
right here.
hold on. Would you make the argument then that it would be safer, if you're considering that, it would be safer that black women go with white men
I don't think that
on
being with
average?
any, no, I wouldn't make that claim that it's
Okay.
necessarily safer, but I'm just saying that you can't say that it's more dangerous.
All
Like
right.
I'm saying we have to be fair. I'm not saying it's safer, but no one can say that any one is more dangerous than the other, right? Because
Okay.
as a woman, you're dating a male in general,
All
right?
right.
And like I
Yeah, I
mentioned to you
got you.
before, the leading
Okay.
cause of unalivement in pregnant women is from their male counterparts. You can't say one is worse than the other. That's my point.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your opinion. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. I got to get some more people up here.
Quick thing,
And I want to get
Afro.
my brother up. But let me say something. Hold on. I want to explain to everybody why I had that back and forth. Do y'all notice? And I'm not like, why Afro? Why'd you do that? Why'd you let her speak? She's not even FBA. I did for a reason, because she's not FBA. Do y'all notice that everybody up here had agreed? Okay, she's saying, let me back up. I'll let you back up and just give me a second. Everybody up here had agreed that this is a dangerous situation and that black women should generally not be with white men, and that black people in general should be preferring other black people. Except, no, don't say except you agree too, because she came up there and started really kind of caping for him, because she came up here and diverted the situation from the racial issue, even though I fully articulated very clearly how this is a racial issue. And she argued me down about how this is not a racial issue. This was a gender issue. And I want y'all to understand the difference. We've had women up here, and then non-FBA women up here. And as you can see, the FBA women have had this thing where they keep on trying to make this not a racial issue. They don't want to deter, as she said, she doesn't want to deter other black women from being with white men. That's what she said. We shouldn't be making this standard or pushing a narrative that deters black women from dating outside their race, even though I explained to her the heightened danger of that. And her argument is, well, that happens all the time. Even now, you can't argue the fact that it is a heightened level of danger, because they're more likely, all victims, all assaulters are more likely to assault anybody, period, if they get away with it, if they have a higher chance of getting away with it. If white men have a higher chance of getting away with abuse of women, then they are going to abuse women more. All right. All statistics, all psychology, all data proves that. But yet she came up here to make the argument that we should not have we should look at this as a racially blind situation. I want y'all to understand that.
Afro.
She don't want us to deter. She don't want us to get off that divester thing. And I want y'all to understand, a lot of the women that you guys are seeing caping for this divester stuff, I want y'all to hear where they're from, hear their accents. All of the people, these be the same people in the chat room. Black men don't love black women, and black men do it too, and black men do it too, from Australia. I just want y'all to know that.
Afro, to my people, you see how Afro had to stop me? BX, I got it, BX, I got it. So I think it's important to note that an African Australian does not have the same history as a foundational Black American woman. And for her to say a whole lot of we, us, our, and use Black blanketly, right, is totally unacceptable. And the sad part is that there's an African in Australia instead of in Africa building it up, right? Okay,
What's
but I won't go
interesting is
there.
I asked, and that's why I asked you if she was in the States. If she was in the United States, she said no. Yet she's speaking on women in the United States.
Right.
And I want you to see that. Come on now.
Yeah,
You're
I gotta
speaking
see
on
this.
a completely different demographic of women, and the circumstances are completely different, yet you are speaking as if you have some authority, and you're making a general blatant statements, all right, from another continent, a continent that you admit that you've never even been to.
So here's another issue, right? They can't say we, us, our. We have a different history with whitey people. Black Americans understand the nature of the beast. We understand that, right? And so when she says we don't want to deter them or we got to be fair, I said, F being fair, we want to be safe. We've had too many instances of white men are the first deadbeat dads. They're the first serial unalivers of black women. Like, let's be for real. White teen men don't have a good standing with our demographic, our ethnic group. And sadly for us, if she migrated here and took an African American history course, she would be considered an expert, and she could get on a national stage and say, us, we, our. We have to stop that. We are not the same people. We do not have the same history. And even though I tussle with the American Indians, we are not African. Right? And that's coming from a person who doesn't deny the slave trade. However, I can trace my ancestors to before America was America. My family has been here for centuries. What happens to an African and how they view things will never be my viewpoint, will never be my vantage point. She's not a member of the black community. She's a member of the African community. She's a member of the immigrant community. But what she will never be is a member of the black community. And that's what we be saying when we get on their ass. Her history conflated with ours will have some of our people thinking it's okay to do this shit here. And then when they get unalived, what? We have to understand we're still under attack, even by white tea people. And no matter how much time they say we are post-racial, America is still racial. We're still facing people being put on trees. We're still facing modern day lynching in the police correctional facilities. We're still facing violence from even black men are at risk of white tea women lying on them. So her history or her thoughts or her feelings or her need to be fair to white tea people so black people can still date them, she ain't our type of black. She don't get to say that to us because we have a different history. We lived under their thumb. Our land.
Now we'll let you, hold on, let's let everybody else speak.
Proximity crime. I'm sorry,
okay.
Apple. When she says that the rates are high between black men unaliving black women and stuff like that, it's proximity crime. That's what it is. You are more likely.
And when I made that argument, she was all like, but we're gonna move on though.
Okay,
we're gonna move on.
Thank you,
okay.
Apple.
Let me let Foundational show he got something to show.
So I kind of feel bad because she thought this is one of those panels where she would come up and try to kumbaya and go bash on black men, and she's sadly mistaken, right? So the reason why she feel like that, right, is because if you look at her country, 74% of women in the same groups experience sexual violence, right? So what we're seeing right now is that in their countries, there's disgusting, vile, demonic things being done to them. Some of them getting their private parts torn off where they got no sensation. Some of them can't own businesses. Some of them can't, right? It's extreme patriarchy where they don't even have a voice. Matter of fact, some of them are forced to marry. There's child marriages. It's like there's no power is what I'm trying to say. And so what they do is now bring that third world degeneracy over to our country and hide under our numbers. So I'm not going to lie. She's right about the stats. She's 100% right. Why? Because y'all came in under our numbers under the moniker of black and started doing the same degeneracy to the point where when I held the panel, you told me I was weak. You said black American men are too weak and soft because I said let the women speak and give them an equal playing field on my panel. Don't talk over them. They said I was weak and too soft. That's what's wrong with black American men now. Y'all let women run all over y'all because in my country, I would show them. And that's what he said, literally. Right. And so this is what's going on. We never had a culture of let me just beat on women and do stuff. And if that was to happen, that person got dealt with by the family or the community. Why do you think it was always kept quiet when there is some degeneracy being done in the family or something else? Because then they know the moment they get poured out and people let it be known that something's going on with a woman or children, that person's going to get beat down something's going to happen to that person. Right. Even if you look at jail, right. What's the whole code? Don't touch women. Don't touch men. You know why? Because something's going to happen to you. You know where that came from? From us. That's where that came from. So we found out you doing something.
You didn't forget, don't touch children. Don't touch.
Yeah, don't touch.
What he meant
right. That's what I said. Don't touch children. Don't touch women. Because something will happen in the community. Before 1965, we never had those numbers of femicides and not with that. If you look at culturally clues. When you look at their historic track record, you see that in their respective countries, they had that. You look at the historic track record through our culture before 1965, civil rights movement, we never had that issue. No garbage all over the floor. You see that in their country, they got dumps of garbage all over the place. No woman beating, no men beating on woman, none of that, right? And again, if that did happen, the community is on their heels if that happened. So when they start coming after 1965, all of that risen up, risen up, the crime, the femicide, the garbage everywhere, all over the place. You can check their countries the same way. So we're not going to play that game. In y'all countries, this is what y'all do, and y'all bring that over here in hot under black. So let's stop playing.
So Mo did want to speak.
Hold
Mo.
on, but we get listen, because I gotta go. So I want to make sure we get to the rest of these speakers. You know. And then we might let Venus come back up here, and then she can argue her statistics against the ones we got right now. Let's get to Spotty. Spotty, you got it?
Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Hello. Oh, okay, cool. A little while ago, like a couple people, just real quick, I'm a little nervous. A couple people had brought up the point of we should like they don't like the fact that a white guy, white T man offed one of ours, so to speak, and it didn't sit right with them. Uh, my opinion. Like I love black men. I always support them out loud, very very blatantly, right? But I don't want to speak for them. But I feel like our black men are already targeted for stuff like for everything, incarceration to like the ABC XYZ 123 community to in there's only so many black men we have, right? I don't think our efforts or protection should be wasted on people who already kind of like claim their allegiance out loud, whether they're ours or not. That's all I wanted to say.
All right. Okay, no.
Brooke said she's getting ready to
Brooke,
leave,
yeah,
so
I
yeah.
saw it. Brooke, you got it.
Thank you. When she was bringing up, hello everybody. Hi.
How you doing?
Peace, bro.
Hello Afro. Hi BX. Hi Sage. And FBAJ, I'm ready for you if you're ready for any foolishness because I already know how you set me up before the last time we were in a room together.
Oh,
So
I did not set you up.
Oh
Please do
yeah,
not start.
you admitted that.
Forget about that.
I did not admit to nothing.
Okay, anyway, so like I was saying, we have that on recording, so I that's proven. Anyway, so like I was saying,
Okay, whatever.
so when the young lady was talking about the numbers, I wonder how she would justify the numbers between same-sex relationships. The numbers of violence between same-sex relationships. The women on women violence is astronomical in relationships. So I'm not a lesbian, and I know lesbians that have really good relationships, but I also know some that be thumping all the time. So I just wonder the numbers are pretty even when you look at same sex relationships. So that women on women abuse is crazy. And then the second thing that I wanted to mention was I need everybody to take a look at a documentary about Army Hammer. Has anyone seen this documentary? I watch a lot of weird things, right? Army Hammer he played the Winklevoss twins on the Facebook movie or in the Facebook movie. And he is the heir to the Arm & Hammer dynasty, right? I don't even know how to go into some of the things that this man did. So we all know he's crazy rich, right? And so one of the things that he would have the girls, because he's, white boy good looking, white T boy good looking as far as they're concerned, they consider him to be good looking. He looks like one of those I think he used to, what is that thing when you row boats? I don't know.
A canoe?
that sport that they play where they row the boats all together. It's like 15 of them in a boat. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I forgot the name of it.
Rich white boy stuff, right? Crew. There you go, crew. So he he's one of those, like, you know what I'm saying? And so the white women, they love him, because they feel like, oh, I got this rich dude or whatever. And one thing he used to tell his girls to do was he would bite them, leave a mark, and then they would have to take a picture of it and post it on their social media. Yeah. Then he told one girl that he wanted to I'm trying to think how to say this on TikTok. He wanted to have her inside of him, but not how you think. Not how you think. I see your face. Not how you think. He wanted her to remove a rib surgically.
Sounds like
so he could then ingest it. Look this up. This is the depravity coming from the white community. This is something that, unfortunately, us as Black women, we got to see firsthand due to our enslavement. This is why we try to stay away from them outside of corporate or work situations as much as possible. We don't want to work in their houses. We don't want to be in relationships with them because we know and have that they are allowed to do things like that, even to their own, much less us, a group that does not get protection under law. So when we understand their generosity, and they unfortunately they have this God complex. So I say, I'm going to talk about me in particular. I say, leave the white men alone because they will not face consequences for the depravity of what they do. If you're with a Black man and he does something to you, unfortunately does something to you, he will face the full extent of the law. He will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. You have even if you can't get the law, then you got friends and family who's going to take care of it. There is nothing that will be done because there is not. How many situations back in the day, revolts, all types of things that started because of some of the violence that we experienced as women from the white community. There's also a book called Life and Incidents of a Slave Girl. And she hid under a house, I think it was for 5 years, just to get away from the sexual violence of her enslavement.
Yes. She lived in a crawl space.
Brooke, you're very muted, muffled.
Yeah, you're a little muffled. Yeah, that should be better. That's a little better.
They've been messing with me all day, so I'll just end it there.
It's that nasty ass Brooklyn service.
In a crawl space, and because I got to get ready to go to work anyway.
Yeah, we appreciate you, bro. And to the people saying pick me's because she doesn't agree with your narrative and because you're trying to push CIA COINTEL gender wars. Yeah, that's not pick me. It's talking facts. Y'all don't like.
We don't do that.
See that we don't do that, and that's what's making a lot of people mad. You see the immigrants coming up here because they thought this is a safe space for them to spew the CIA COINTELPRO gender wars, right? But that's what we're not doing. Now we can have these conversations, but we still gonna be on code at the end of the day. Like Shorty is literally in Australia, fled her country of Liberia, and all the way on a whole nother continent, but deep embedded into our YT statistics, not knowing the actual facts behind it. That's the crazy part. And like I said, what's going on is, here's the real issue. they're so mad at the third world things that's being done to them as women that they come in here thanks to off the backs of the Black American strong woman that paved the way for women to have rights over here that they don't have in their third world countries. And so now they feel like they emboldened now when they come over here, where they go to certain countries where they have those freedoms, and now they want to wage war on the men of their countries, but using the umbrella term of black men. That's what's really going on. So now they trying to use this umbrella term of black men to wage the war because they couldn't, excuse me, the WAR, because they couldn't do that in their respective countries because they fled. Now they're going to paint the whole group with a single brush. We're not doing that. We're not going to do that at all. You can keep that in Liberia, the country that we built, the last name we gave you, the cities that we built. Yeah, you can keep that over there. But we're not doing that over here.
The female on female violence as well. I account for that.
Yeah.
Speak real quick.
Yeah, let me see. I don't know why you're muffled. It sounds like this. I don't know. TikTok is messing with you. But yeah. Always y'all better stop messing with Brooke. Y'all better leave Brooke alone. Okay? I don't know what y'all better stop. I'm telling you right now, I'm not in the mood. I'm really not in the mood. Y'all better stop. We need more sisters like her, so y'all better stop.
Facts.
All right.
No,
Let's get
bro,
to
it's that New York service. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Y'all not listening, man.
to be honest, it be sounding like you don't like New York half the time. You know what I'm saying? The way you be talking real uppity. You be
Right.
talking
What type of
uppity
time are
about
you
New
on?
York.
Yeah, and then he got borough
Sage
prejudice
be
too.
kicking dirt on New York, man. He be sitting up
Yeah.
there
Hold
dragging New
on.
York. Oh boy, he be see that's that
Bro.
Bronx shit. I'm like, okay, all right, Sage.
Yo, chill,
Oh,
bro. Chill, man. I love New York, man.
No,
chill.
but you got some messed up service too, because you
I
sound
just,
just as muffled as Brooke did.
Yeah,
I
what's
So
your
what's
what's your
going on with
background,
you?
Sage?
Ooh.
I am.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Well, according to the chat, I'm Haitian. You
Yeah,
know, and what was I Afro? I'm Haitian and something else. I have no idea, but
yeah. You were some other Caribbean something.
yeah, I was mixed with all types of shit. I get my
Yeah.
father's from Louisiana, so he, you know, hey, maybe some, no, yeah, okay.
Oh,
Come, all right.
Oh boy, black.
Matter of fact,
so BX asked who was Johnny Black. This your boy Johnny Black, right?
matter of fact, old girl
hey,
Venus,
BX.
holla at Johnny
That's your
Black, man.
rich Southern man who you gonna marry later.
Because you know, like
Not
black
Johnny
women
Black.
don't
Oh
crack.
Lord.
You know, our black don't crack. Neither do black men. And his look like it's something over there. It's a little frumpy. I don't want no frumpy Southern man.
Look. Hey, he be
My
doing a
bad,
lot of
y'all. I had to
cracking.
throw a little comedy in there. It was getting a little too spicy
According,
up in here.
yeah, according to him, he be doing a lot of cracking. So that's
Oh
what he said.
God.
That's what he said. Let's get to the next speaker. Let's get to
So
This Is My
please, can we
World.
just let Mo go real fast? Because she's been patiently waiting. She
Yeah, she
got,
has.
Mo
yeah.
didn't go yet. I thought Mo went. Mo went
But she
already.
just wanted to piggyback off
I
of
wanted
something
to
real fast.
respond to that lady because, like everybody else was confused on here, when she said that 40%. No. I was thinking, no, that's you. That's your people. You know,
Right.
because as much as we don't like to hear it, like
Mm-hmm.
when we thought we were all on code, because they ain't on code. Their enemy is their color, so they are coming from a continent where they have to compete, and their enemy is the same color as them and looks like them, whatever. So when you hear them talking about, oh, this is not a race thing or whatever, that's their opportunity anyway. But we have lived it. We've lived amongst it. We've seen the AB. We've seen the horrific things that they've done to our people. And even though, like I said, if you choose to do it, just don't talk down on it. But what could happen. We already know. So that's a cultural thing for them. My family members, like somebody said, I ain't heard nobody whooping up on somebody and just oh, that's her household. You don't say nothing about it. No, somebody was
Nah.
corrected.
Right. They coming up
And
here and whooping ass. So what you did? Okay.
yeah, somebody was corrected.
Mm-hmm.
And also I heard you Afro, and I've been paying attention too. with these panels. I've been paying attention to. I've been paying attention to who's running them. You're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I was getting all mixed up in that for a minute, like, and then I had to look back, like, what is going on? This is something new, because it's on, TikTok, it's in your face. Pay attention, y'all. Pay attention.
It's immigrants doing this, black man, black woman, and whenever you see
I
these
know.
panels holding that, those are ask their background. All right, what's your background?
It's
Oh,
not
I'm
I want
Jamaican.
y'all to notice it's not a black man in this entire situation at all. And yet she decided to bring up, well, what about black men too? What about black men? So is this about protecting black women or is this about protecting white men? What exactly did you come up here for?
And
You
that's
didn't
what I
come up
wanted
here
to
to
say.
protect black women. You came up here to defend him. That's what you came up here to do and say that this wasn't a racial issue.
That was my first thing that I forgot to say, y'all, is they not on code. I don't care what's going on. We not talking about our brothers right now. So sit down somewhere. Why are you doing all that? You causing discord. Go make you a panel about that if you want to. This is not what we're doing. We're not doing this.
You know what it was, Mo?
We talking about this person with the bald head down here, and you wanna do that. Like,
You know what it
that
was,
was just
Mo?
tacky. That was tacky.
We had a brief conversation in regards to black men. So she probably came in hearing that and she was like, here's my chance. So she thought this is those type of panels where she can just start punching on black men, right? And then when she went up here, that's why I laughed. I said, I feel bad for her because she stepped into the lion's den thinking that this is a different thinking that this is a different type of panel, not knowing that we on code. So she's about to get beat down by everybody because with a black American woman and black American man, because we on code when it comes to our people. And that's the thing about it. They keep projecting their degeneracy, their third world stuff that they do over there on us. We don't operate like that. When my uncle, he's what stole my mother's stuff, and he started selling her clothes out in the Bronx, and then the stuff he couldn't sell, he put paint on it. My brother went over there and whooped that ASS, and he didn't touch my mom or nothing. But he whooped and my brother a little older. He was in his 40s at the time. I was a young boy. He whooped my uncle's ASS. And that's not even no DV. That's not no punching, no hitting. He ain't touch my mom, but just so the principle of selling her clothes, he got his ass whooped. So imagine him touching my mom or any kind of touching or beating or anything with woman. It's next level. The whole family on him. So that's family. So we not gonna play that game. I haven't seen that. That's not my reality.
All right. Appreciate that. Let's get to This Is
Drop
My
me
World.
down.
Oh, appreciate you. We ain't gonna bring nobody else up. We're gonna wrap things up with this lineup right here. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, so thanks for having me up. There's two interesting things about this case, and my heart goes out to her family because this is a beautiful sister, and it just, it's on the surface, it just looks like this was a complete setup. But the first thing that I noticed was a lot of times when Black women divest from Black men, it's because of trauma or anger or some type of frustration that they have. Not to say that they not to say that all of them are in that situation, but a lot of them do it. And it's the same thing with women who turn into lesbians after having bad experiences with men in general. It's out of pain. So I saw recently that her parents were interviewed, I think it was by CBS. And the journalist was speaking to her mom and she was talking, but then her dad just blurted out, this guy, he didn't even contact us to let us know that she had passed. And so that to me made me think, okay, this man and the other sister earlier, she made a good point. She's a baby compared to him. Ashley Janae, this woman is younger, much younger than him. And so it just seems like this man, after what her father said, he went out of his way to make them feel comfortable that he was going to protect and take care of their daughter, especially while they were in Tanzania.
Can you
And so
define
for this
baby for me? Because I've been hearing that all
I'm
day.
sorry?
Can you define baby for me?
How old do you
Yeah,
think?
yeah.
Because a lot of people like she got a
Okay,
baby
looking
face. I'm
looking at
asking.
the picture. Okay,
Yeah, but
looking at
how
the
old
picture
do
that
you
you
think
have up
she
there.
is?
I know that she's in her 30s, right? She's in
Okay,
her
okay.
30s, but the picture that you have up there, to me, that clearly looks like a 20-year difference. She has
Yeah,
a
but she that
very
don't
Looking at the
mean
picture,
that don't
she
mean
very
does
she's
look
a
like
advanced
she's
Okay,
but
22.
that
okay,
don't mean she's a
yeah,
baby, right? Because
yeah,
after
Okay, I
25,
know
the brain
literally she's not a
develops.
baby. I know that
uh-huh.
literally she's not a baby,
Right.
but she
So
is much younger than him.
younger don't mean
I'm
dumb
gonna
though.
let
Okay,
you.
and
I'm gonna
so
let you.
that was
We're gonna let you. I'm gonna let you land so we can. Cause I. Okay,
okay,
go
Because
yeah.
ahead.
older don't mean smarter. I'm
So
just
my point is, okay, I just want to make this point, then I'll land. I don't understand, and maybe somebody can explain this to me. I do not understand why she went out of her way to denigrate black men, especially since the fact that she had a father who appeared to be very active and protective of her. And so I understand, like I said, some women go through painful experiences with black men, but they don't go out of their way and start denigrating them in public. So for this to happen to her and then this man to just completely flip on them and not even contact them to let them know that she had passed, to me that just it just screams red flags. And yeah, so I'll end with that. Thank you.
Then let me ask you. You said a lot of black women they date out due to like trauma or past horrific past experiences. You know, would you say that is the same reason black men date out too?
Yeah, yeah. I think that a
Okay.
lot of times when we divest from each other, it's from a traumatic experience. And it's not to say that it's not justified, but a lot of times that is the reason. Just like when men, this whole movement of men going overseas to find their wives, that is because men are frustrated with the black women in this country and vice versa. But I don't see a lot of the black men denigrating black women and saying all black women are like this and vice versa. So it confuses me why she went to that degree. You know what I mean? Like if she had a bad experience, especially since her father was in her life. Like I don't know if anyone can explain that to me, but I don't
We still
understand.
waiting. We still waiting on information. We still there's still a lot we don't know. We know she's made those tweets. We know those opinions came from her. So we still waiting on information. Some people have theorized that I guess this is what she believed in from start to finish. Maybe this was her grooming. Some people also theorize that she did that. She said those things publicly to make him comfortable.
yeah,
You know.
yeah.
So
Mm.
there's been a couple of theories as to why she made those tweets. We don't know yet.
And
We
my
might not
thing
ever know.
Mhm.
Sorry, Ralph, I didn't mean to. My thing is this real quick, and I think is because I've been in the comments listening. I try not to go too much in these kind of conversations, but I love what you're doing, Afro, and I love the balance that you're keeping in it and not allowing it to go to certain levels it can get to usually when people have conversations. So I want to commend you with that. Also, we had a lot of people that usually engage in these agenda, COINTEL pro gender wars things that was happy to be a part of this conversation. BX kind of checked them earlier. Shout outs to BX. But one thing I would say is this. I just want us to be intellectually honest, right? When we had this conversation, we gotta, I get that she may look young, but we gotta stop the baby talk. She's not a baby. She's in her 30s. The brain developed after 25. So she has a thinking brain where she can, and older age doesn't mean more intelligence. We have a lot of older people that we see on the panel on a day-to-day basis that we intellectually demolish on a day-to-day basis. So we got to stop this "she's a baby" rhetoric, right? Because then it takes away from the accountability, right? Another thing is, listen, if people want to do what they want to do, they want to, be with who they be with. Listen, I'm nobody to tell people who to be with. My thing is when you start talking about your own community to impress people, that's where I have an issue. You're gonna do what you're gonna do. You live in your own life. I can't tell nobody what to do, how to do it, how to move. But when you start denigrating your own community, and from what I'm reading, she's been doing it since 17. I mean, we gotta. It's only so much she's a baby. We gonna keep saying somebody been doing it since 17 years old, and she's in her 30s, maybe mid 30s. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Y'all let me know. I don't mind being wrong.
I do want to say, in order for a community
I
to
agree.
grow, we do need to have a set of standards that are stagnant. For anybody in the chat room, anybody on the panel who has children, more than one child, if, for an example,
you have a strict rule about not stealing. You have a strict rule about cursing. You have a strict rule about one thing, right? If you have a strict rule and that's the rule of the house, that rule needs to be applied to all of the kids. Okay? You know, if that rule, if for instance, the rule of don't walk in the house with your shoes on. If that rule applies to Johnny, it gotta apply to Timmy too. You gotta apply the same standard and the same rules. Otherwise, you'll have a disorganized, dysfunctional house where there's some rules for other people and some standards for other people and some not. Now, of course, in most households, the oldest are held more accountable for the rules, but there are not specific rules for individual children unless that child has an issue. Then you might need those, but you know, those are different circumstances, right? But when it comes to the standard we have, especially when we get into dating, which is why it's a very touchy subject. When we get into dating, people really do kind of move the goalposts a little bit, and people kind of have different shifting. It's not even different standards, it's shifting standards. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, people are acknowledging the age gap. I would only have acknowledged that if he knew her when she was like 15 years old, and he was like, you could argue he groomed her into, you know, something like that. If it was like that, then yeah, maybe. But he's known her since she was what, 30 or 30 years old. She's 31. So if they've been dating for a year, she was 30 years old. She's a grown woman, you know. She's younger than him. Yeah, that's true. But she's a grown woman. And if it was a grown man who's 30 years old, 30-year-old black men do not get the baby pass. And if 30-year-old black men do not get the baby pass because they're a grown man, we can't allow 30-year-old black women to get the baby pass either. They're a grown woman too, you know. So as far as that standard is concerned, they're adults, and there's this thing where we have to hold adults to a certain standard.
Okay, can I just clarify? I'm not saying I had a baby pass when I called her when I said that she
And
had a baby.
I'm not saying you were doing that, but I've seen that be done, not just by you, by other speakers and people in the comments. So that's why I wanted to acknowledge that.
Right. And so I can agree with you, right? And lately we have been in certain rooms, right, amongst us, right? Not too many outsiders watching. We have been calling attention to something. So let's take Shavu. Shavu speaks about black men or boys who are taken advantage of, yet they don't know. At least when I used to go in there regularly. So we are having more of these talks, not necessarily with the adult thing, but like they told me that when they were younger, maybe 14, they were like 20-year-old.
FBAJ, since you haven't spoken on the prompt, you can go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna just say this. Our our women in particular, Black American women, don't need to be into breeding with these white tea people at all because one, they stole over trillions of acres of land from us. They know that their time is up and they know that we are going through our paperwork, doing our genealogy, coming across land patents, things of that nature. They got a lot of these white tea people got corporations built on top of our patents, so they know that if once it comes out that all the stolen land that they took, the people who originally own it can reclaim it. They know they have to give it up, and the government is going to force them to do so. So the only way for them to keep it is to marry in with a Black American woman, or a Black American man marries a white tea woman, and that's how they keep it in the family. So I don't really agree with the whole interracial, intermixing with different races, because you see it over there in Africa right now with the Chinese. The Chinese are over there right now marrying the women, breeding with them, producing offspring, claiming that's their way of claiming the land as well. Now and then, not only on top of that, Ghana is also in debt to China and Russia, so they on the verge of losing their land either way it goes. But the point that I'm making is these people know all the evil and harm that they have done to us. So what we need to do is just stick together. And I know that's weird for me to say given the situation that just happened right now. But we do, even if we can't get along, at least just stick within each other and stop going outside of ourselves to find I guess belonging.
Mm.
Because a lot of times when you see these swirlers, they be talking so down on black men, especially when they, you know, love white tea or Hispanic or any other race of men. They'll down their own man to uplift that man. And I'm not trying to start a race war. I'm not trying to start a gender WAR. We love TikTok shop, but I'm just pointing out things that I have seen,
Okay.
and I land there.
I'm not gonna lie to you, family. I'm surprised to see the brother BT on the panel after the stuff he was saying about Black American woman. I gotta give you the amount of gold you have to have.
Why you
It's
surprised to see
different.
me? Why you surprised to see me?
That's interesting.
What happened? What's the situation?
Oh
One,
man.
You
let me one
surprised? Do
minute,
you
one
have
minute. Now, wait. I got to give the background context. Remember when I said sister? I see Sister Keita in the chat, and there was a white tea woman or a white tea Hispanic hosting a live about Black American
I
relations.
was on that
And
panel.
1 minute, Jay, and then Black American men, most specifically those who identify as foundational Black American, took that opportunity to throw shots at Black American women. I wasn't in that panel, but Keita was. She wanted to address it on her own, address the woman, because I don't understand how we looking at white tea people to be an expert on our relationships and they're dating
So
African or
Keita
whatever.
is a white
So
tea woman.
BT,
Keita is a
no,
white
no,
tea woman,
Keita
right?
is the sister
Okay.
that came back and told me about it. So that's how I knew about it. But
Okay.
BT was on that panel, and I hear some things were said about Black American women.
Mm.
Obviously,
Okay.
play the clips? Play the
foundational.
clips. I'll address it.
Hold on, BT. I'm just giving context. So he's up here now, and obviously Marshall understands that BT was on that panel, and so Marshall would be able to take it from here. I just wanted you to know what Marshall was
Okay.
referencing. Okay.
For him to play the clips or say the verbatim quote, and I'll talk about it. Let's go.
No, that's for you to explain. The
Because you're
the
the one said you
burden the
can't believe I'm up
burden
here
the
after what I
burden
said. So
of
you need to say what I
the
said, brother.
burden of
It's not up
everything
for
is
me to
on you
explain.
because you was on
Okay.
You
that panel
calling
with
me
that
out, you
woman.
need to say what I said, nigga.
The burden is on
Hey,
you
let's
to
not do that.
explain.
Burden is
Yeah.
not on me. That's when you're
Okay,
proving something.
BT. What did you say? What did you say that you
This shit
think
was 2 weeks ago. I don't know. That shit was a funny room. I don't remember. That's why I told him, tell me exactly what he's talking about, and I will address it.
Do you
Verbatim.
remember the space, BT? Do you remember
Remember
the
the space.
space
It
he's
was a mess.
referring
I
to?
don't remember the top. I remember.
So you remember the space, but you don't remember the topic and you don't remember what was said?
Well, I do so many rooms and I be on Clubhouse, so I'm not just here. It was like I was in there like 20 minutes. I don't remember. If he want to bring it up and say, or if y'all got the clip, I will address the shit. Or if he want to say exactly what I said, but to just say the shit and then y'all want me to verbatim the shit, that's not how that go, and y'all know it.
Okay, so because
Anytime somebody get called out, you supposed to be like,
hold on.
nigga, you said this.
Hey. So what BX is saying is that you were in there and you were disparaging foundational Black American women.
He
That's
said
what
she was not in there.
He was.
He said she was not in there. Someone
I
told him
was.
that.
I
I
said.
was in there.
I said BX said you were in there. I didn't say she said she was in there. She
She
said
was in
you were
there. That's
in there.
why I asked what I said. What are they saying I said? You see what
You
I'm
Right.
was
saying?
Okay. So let me
you,
first
So
you
you're
was
address.
not
in.
you're not getting
One
to the
minute,
root of
Jay.
it.
Okay, hold
Okay,
on.
go ahead.
No
Go
one's
ahead.
So it was disparaging enough for the person to block you, the Black American woman to block you, BT. And I can admit,
block me. That is a lie. That is a lie.
BT,
one
stop,
moment,
First of all, you're gonna
one
calm
moment,
down with your
one moment.
attitude
Let me
talking
get
to the
it out
woman
because
Yeah.
my
like that.
voice is
Attack
so messed
somebody and
up.
tell them to come.
Nobody attacked
I'm
you. I
not
said I'm
Bro,
attacking
surprised you're up
you.
there. Stop
I'm
whining.
not 1 minute foundational. I'm
And
not
attack
attacking.
some.
I'm
nobody
not
attacked you.
attacking you. I'm not
Nobody
Nobody
attacking
attacked you.
you.
attacked you. You playing
I'm
victim
Listen,
now.
giving
yeah.
context.
You don't even know.
I'm
Hey,
giving
BT,
context.
hold on. Hey, you're not gonna do that because
We're not doing
what's
that.
coming off is coming off like you're being defensive, like you got caught or something. We're trying to get to
I'm
hold
not.
on, BT, you're a
No, bro.
grown ass man. Calm down. All right, we don't do
Accused of.
this here.
You acting like an
We don't
African
do
right
this
But
now.
let
here.
me
It's
clear
me
it
If
coming.
up.
I have to BT, look, if I have to continuously keep muting you, or if the mods have to continuously keep muting you, then we're just gonna automatically assume all of the shit people saying about you is correct. So calm down. We're gonna get to it. But all it is, say it. No. Don't be super hyper about it. Now, BX was talking.
Right. So it troubled Sister Keita so much that she came back and she said that, when she held her first live, she had the background, the prompt. And then she was like, even BT was up there, so I had went ahead and blocked him. But she then said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and send him the live, tell BT to come here so that he could address what happened on the prompt. And BT said, because you unfollowed me, I'm not supporting your live. Is that correct, BT?
Yes.
Thank you. So yeah, I'm going to speak for myself, BT. I was just giving more context because Marshall came up and said what he said to you, and I wanted Afro Elite to understand where this was coming from because I mentioned it earlier, minus your name, because I forgot that you were said to be there. Okay, so I'm just providing context. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so let me just start here because I don't like how I was approached. Afro, anybody is going to defend themselves. So don't say no, how I'm defending myself is automatic guilt. That's insane. In that room, and I don't remember, that's why I said say the shit so I can address it. I don't mind that. I'm like this, period, my nigga. So y'all not finna say no because I'm on 10 defending myself that you're going to assume I'm guilty. That's ignorant. And I know you're smarter than that because I've done panels with you. So that's what we're not going to do. He needs to say, or Keita need to come here and say exactly what I said. That's one. And I will say yes or no. And I'll say why I said it. And I'll say if I meant the shit or not. I don't mind that.
All
But
right.
So
that's
you
one.
see, so
That's
here's the
one.
thing, right?
That's
Hold
one.
on.
You
Here's
see the
the
games he
thing.
played. He said he didn't
Here's the
remember. So
thing.
even if I did say,
Here's
how
the
you gonna
thing.
remember
I
that?
asked you, notice I asked you, and
Done.
I was
I'm literally
asking
not
Nobody
BT,
asked if you done. He's talking right now.
you talked.
though. Can I
Here's the
No,
land
you
thing.
though?
can't land Afro
Here is the
talking.
thing. No, let me talk. All right. Because
Bugging out.
you were not bombarded. You're sitting up there making it seem like you came and then you just got jumped.
Plays
You
are
were
on
Yo,
now.
not.
you acting
Okay,
like an
BT.
African. Stop
And
coming off
see,
your
this
mic.
is the
Party. You're
childish.
not finna sit
Okay,
here and lie.
BT. No, don't tell me what I'm not going to sit here and do. In my space, I am the ultimate fucking authority. Listen, at the end of the day, anything I do in this space is my space. All right. So at the end of the day, you're not going to tell me what I am and am
Right.
not going to do. You came up here and you were addressed. And then when you said somebody prove it and other people started talking, you kept cutting people off. You cut people off because you don't want people to get out what they were about to say about you. That is why I'm saying that's coming off as being defensive. I asked, do you recall the space? You said yes. I said, what was the space about? Then you said you don't remember. You don't remember, but you recall the space, but you don't remember what you said in the space. So you do remember, you don't remember. It sounds like you're lying. And that's why you don't want anybody to speak. That's why we had to keep muting you. You were not being attacked. Your reaction is what caused everybody to assume you were in the wrong in the first place.
Right, because I didn't even say nothing. I said, I'm surprised you up here. I didn't say, why you here, or what are you doing, or nothing. I said, wow, I got to commend you because you have a lot of gall. That's what I said. I said, shout outs to you for coming over here after denigrating women on a Hispanic woman panel that's saying, well, Hispanic and a Chinese woman should teach Black American women how to have relationships or something like that. And you up there caping and doing all this stuff. Yeah, that was the prompt. It was a Spanish woman and it says Hispanic and Asian should teach Black women or black people or people or they had some Black people on the picture and the Black woman pointing at the man. So you could put two and two together and it says to teach how to have relationships. And he up there keeping. And he gonna try to act like he ain't know. And then he said, well, I don't know, I don't remember. Then he said, tell me so I can remember. How would you know if I'm gonna tell you? How will you be able to rebuttal it if you don't remember? Stop playing with us, fam.
No, he was gonna play. Listen, like he said, I'm smart enough to do this. Yeah, I'm smart, and I'm not even trying to pat myself on the back. But I'm too smart to see through that play because when he was accused of saying things or being disrespectful, he did not deny saying any of that stuff. He just said, "Well, tell me verbatim, quote to me what I said, so therefore I can either verify that or refute that. So what he was going to do is, if we said, "Oh, you said this," well, no, technically I didn't
Right.
say that, and he was going to play that game of misquoting him instead
Right.
of either denying or confirming the points he made. So we know that game. And then FBAJ said he was in the same room and you didn't let him speak. So you're not even letting people get out what they
Oh
have an
no.
issue with you about.
Oh no, I spoke. I said what I had to say because him and C-Lay was up in there talking about black women can learn from Asian and Latino women, and black women don't like to listen, and this, that, and the third. And I was the only one up there defending black women and saying nah, because she had a prompt up asking what can what can Asian and Latino women teach black women about black men, and I ain't gonna lie, the
Mm,
prompt was very provocative and disrespectful. Because it's
mm,
like, what you mean? What can you teach a black woman? You like, let me get this straight. You mean the woman who actually carried us for 9 to 10 months, give or take, depending on health and conditions or whatever,
mm,
carried us, birthed us, raised us, taught us, and then you got the audacity to say that you can teach them better than they can teach us.
mm,
You can love us better than they can. When your own man don't even love y'all correctly, your man be over there abusing y'all left and right, doing y'all
mm,
dirty,
And that's why he started acting like
doing
an African when
doing
I called him
doing
out on it. He
doing.
couldn't start coming off the mute and going crazy and start wilding. We don't operate like that. We wrong and said, you know
Oh,
what, this is what
Keita up.
happened.
Oh, my bad. Nah,
Oh,
Keita,
my
you
yeah,
go
bad,
ahead and
FDA.
FBA's up here.
nah,
Keita's
nah,
up here.
Keita up here. She can
All
go ahead
right.
and tell y'all. She can tell y'all.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I just wanted to wait, until I would have, you know,
Hmm.
I got permission to talk because I do have manners. So I know
Hmm.
that.
You
Right.
got it.
Yeah, anyway, so yeah, I was in the audience because I was stuck on restriction because I wanted to go in and just see what was going on. I seen the couple FBA in there. So I seen Jay and he was up there, defending the post and asking her, what made her even put this post and just letting her know it was confrontational because why did she choose to talk about black relationships? And then BT was up there. He came up in there and basically he told her that they can teach us how to be more submissive and black women are not complicit enough, and that when if we make more money than the man, we make them feel small. We don't know how to talk to our men if we successful, and basically that Asian women basically know how to stay in a woman's
Be
place and a black woman don't, and that yeah, Latino women a little bit spicy, but even if they're a little spicy, they still know how to make their man feel like they important because they know how to play their gender role, even if they make more money. Just basically making it seem like we were
like,
loud, ghetto, like we not compassionate with our men, like we don't know how to be soft and ladies and be submissive. Just basically throwing us under the bus like we was some butch women that need to be taught by immigrants how to treat our men. And I mean, he was just up there just gloating and just letting her say, oh, well, well, maybe you could tell her how to do this. And, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Like, so this white tea pale faced lady, I was just so mad, you know what I'm saying? So I told BT, I told him in the audience, I'm like, I'm unfriending you. I'm disappointed in you. I can't even believe that I even had my plus checked off on you. And he gonna tell me, oh no, sis, don't do that. Come up here so I can gift you. No, you don't need to gift me nothing. Even if I wasn't on restriction, I would not come on that panel to accept your gift. I'm cool. I see how you are. No, thank you.
Keita, can I ask you a question?
C-Lay literally said
Notice,
verbatim
notice how.
that they are more
Hold on,
submissive than
FBAJ.
black
Hold on,
women.
FBAJ.
Oh, my
Because
bad. Go
no, you
ahead.
good, brother. I just want to make this real quick. And this is for Keita. Notice how, with the topic of the room, right? You just said verbatim what this young lady said about us, meaning black men. These dudes are saying that about black women. And this was the problem to start the room. So I want you guys to know that, again, to that woman that was in here earlier, it's not a damn gender war. If a black male is saying stuff like
We
Keita
check
just
them.
said, yes, that's not okay. I want to repeat, if a black male is saying what this black woman was saying, like Keita just said, it's not okay. So shout out to you, Sister Keita, and thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Yup. And Keita didn't know I was going to check him on that neither. She didn't know that. I heard it. She didn't know I was in her room in the back end just watching and listening. I said, okay, don't worry about it. And the brother came up. Yeah, we're going to ask some questions. You're not going to be up here acting like you for the lineage and FBA and all this. And you over here talking dirty and greasy. We ain't doing that. So you can talk tough and all that N-word this and N-word that. That don't mean nothing. You're going to be writing them comments real quick.
What
You know what I'm
happened?
gonna do, BX? I
Yeah.
wanna hold a therapy session, right? We will put on some Zen music and just let the brothers just chill out. I'm gonna do that in a live. I'm gonna go live, just hold like a Zen session,
Did you check your
some breathing
inbox?
session.
Did you
Huh?
check your inbox? I asked you to check it
N-
because I need some information from you, Marshall.
no, I didn't check it yet. I apologize. I've been running around.
Please do.
I wasn't supposed to even go online today, to be honest with you, go on live, but I saw y'all. I said I had to come on real quick. So yeah,
Okay.
but I want to have that kind of live. I'm gonna check it though, PS. I've got you, but I'm gonna definitely have that
Please,
kind of live
because
because a
I
lot
need
of
the
brothers need
info.
it. They
Yeah.
let a red pill. They need some woosah breathing exercises. I'm gonna do that.
Stress ball or something.
Right.
All right, y'all. Y'all gonna have a good one. Y'all make sure y'all go to For the Culture. You said what?
Let's say, and I'll apologize for confronting who I confronted because, like I said, when I'm on a panel and I see him pop up, I'm ready for the shits. You know what I'm saying? So I assume that's what's coming next because, that's what happened to me before. So, I definitely, so, and it's why I stayed away from a lot of rooms that certain people go into. I just stayed away from it to avoid from things like that happening because I know how I am. And I'm trying to do the work, and I'm really not trying to be confrontational like that, especially with people in the lineage. So I just tried to stay away from certain rooms. But you know what I'm saying? You family. So it's like, how long was I gonna stay away from your room? You understand what I'm saying? So the second that he popped up, I was like, look, it's just gonna have to be. Sorry, I'm just gonna
Yeah,
have to
I forget. My bad. I forgot about. I know about Leo. I forgot about the FBAJ thing. So I didn't even that. I wasn't trying to backdoor you or anything.
No,
You know.
I wouldn't think that you would do that to me, which is why I
Uh-huh.
just said something. Like, you know what I mean? I
Mhm.
figured you just didn't know. You know what I mean? So that's why, I was like, well, if that's why such and such is here, I won't even say their name no more. If that's why such and such is here, then let's get to it. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I don't run. But I do try to, you know what I'm saying, to refrain from confrontation for the simple fact that these people are of the lineage. And so, but since they was here, let's get it. And so, I apologize, for you having to referee on that as well. And so, and I'll end it with send those emails, everybody, because even the people that, you know what I'm saying, I got issues with that are of the lineage, I'm still trying to get reparations for us all, including them, even though, I wish other things. But anyway, send those emails to our legislators regarding delineation, even though some people don't believe in our lineage and status as freedmen, but they call themselves the delineationists. I just find that weird. Send those emails to, and we have a new, did you notice, Afro? I got a .com now. You know what I'm saying? No more bit.ly, blah, 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 blah. No.
Oh yeah, you thorough with it. You professional.
Yeah, I got, it was
Uh-huh.
because that was supposed to be temporary. It was really supposed to be temporary, but it's kind of taking on a life of its own. So I decided to make it permanent and get a .com. So it's abruptcalltoaction.com now. So none of that, all that craziness in the beginning and whatnot. So I just want to say thank you. And thank you, BX. For always pumping the emails. Keita, I see you up there, girl. Thank you, Sage, for always having my back. And EJ, thank you as well for
Wait,
always having
don't
my
drop.
back.
Bro.
That thing
I'm not gonna drop. Foundational,
before it
thank
was
you
like
too.
Wait, Afro, please. Can she give us an update on the support for the delineation bill out of New York? Because I think there's progress. Correct, Brooke?
Yes, of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I forgot. Yeah, because I haven't been here in a while. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
So since I started the email campaign, right, we have picked up 4 assembly people and 2 senators as co-sponsors and sponsors for our bill, right? So that is since I started the email campaign a few months ago, right? So that's where we are. And we, like I said, we're going to manifest this bill into fruition this legislative session, because the MENA group have already gotten their delineation, disaggregation bills passed through, and the AAPI, the Asians, they have gotten their delineation and disaggregation bill passed through. And so, that's why but they haven't gotten the paperwork changed yet. So we're, got our foot on their necks trying to get, well, not even trying, we're going to have our foot on their necks and get this passed this legislative session so that they can change all three categories at one time. There's a sister in the chat, and sister, I'm not going to say your name, but there's a sister in the chat who works in a prison, right? And she was a missionary with this link. And I try to shout her out as much as I can with the love that I can give her, because I can't say her actual name, right? She works at a prison, and she took this email link to the death row inmates. She got 50 death row inmates to send emails to our legislators. So not only, is the family that I love and appreciate so much, sending emails that are on the outside, we got family members that are on the inside that see the value in what we're doing. They want to make a better life and a better future for us on the outside. And I appreciate that sister for being a missionary with the link and taking it, and she incurred backlash on her job as a result. She said, girl, I'm about to retire, so I don't really care. But she definitely, they demoted her, they took pay away from her, and she did it anyway. And so, I appreciate the family so much. So the family that's on code. I appreciate the family so much for all the support that they have given me, all the love that they have shown me. All the donations they have sent for our travel and other expenses, and I just appreciate it. And I thank you, Afro, for being, standing with me and helping me and allowing BX to put the link in the chat as much as she can on YouTube and on TikTok. And I will end it there. Thank you, everybody. I love you guys. I really do love the family. I do this for all of us. I just would hope that you would be on code and understand that I'm here to do the work. I'm not here for the foolishness.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yes, indeed. Love you too. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night. Okay.
B1. Can I say something else? Can I say something else? Afro, I want to agree with Sage. You handled this splendidly as a host and as a moderator. Sometimes things go out of our control, and it's how you regroup after that. I've been frozen when stuff like this happened on my panel, right? Because I like them both. So who do you drop, right? You don't drop them. You just hope that that we get through it. That's just what I wanted to say. You did a splendid job, because sometimes I freeze. I do, y'all. But as strong as I am on these panels, I freeze. You did an amazing job. You did.
Thank you.
Afro for president. Yay.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And and we are moving forward better. So that's what I'm here for.
Aww.
That being said, you all have a good night. I will see you all soon.
Okay, B1 family.